being run by Mr. Lalit Mohan Kapoor. And he also, I mean, you are his coach, so that way you become my grand coach. And we have been, I mean, it's just that the whole Bible is in front of me, and what we can talk in front of you is like really, it's so amazing. And I'm so thankful to Sanjay. It was like a dream come true. You are on the panel and you are speaking, and we are with you. It's such an honor for us. I think each one of us.
Well, do you want me to start beginning now?
Yes, now we can begin. Just some more time. We will invite you, doctor. Please wait for 10 more minutes, please. We will invite you very shortly.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay, so we can start now. Do I have the green signal? Aditi, everybody's in now? All the speakers?
So some are still not there, but I think we can get started.
Okay.
Meanwhile, we can connect with them.
Yes, sure. So I believe now we are 50 of us in this room, and very warm welcome to everyone. So my name is Sanjay Sethi. I'm the Executive Director of Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. I welcome you to this great collection of people on this webinar on reversing diabetes and managing the gut health to plant-based foods. Very warm welcome once again to each and everyone. And I hope that today we will be able to go back with some amazing new insights. We have amongst us Dr. Colin Campbell. And I remember when last time we were on a panel, he had mentioned animal protein is a poison. And that sentence lingers on still today. And he has made a breakthrough and revealed that animal protein can be detrimental to our health, especially they lead to cancer. So all that we will hear not only from him, but an amazing lineup of speakers on diabetes. As you know, India is susceptible more to the diabetes, and we have seen that through plant-based foods, the diabetes can be managed more effectively. How? We will get to know. I myself have been prone to diabetes, having reversed it once, again fell prey to that because of the lifestyle that we have, and because of the other overall food habits that we develop over a period of time. And then we realize that through our exercise and through our various management of plant-based foods, some of us who are here today, there is an opportunity for all of us to do some soul searching, that if the plant-based foods industry has to survive and grow, it has to be through the plant-based, wholesome, nutritious, sumptuous, and absolutely good quality foods, plant-based foods. But you will very soon find out some of the speakers are going to not spare you for being over processed on certain things. And that's why we have also brought in some of the colleagues who are into tempeh, for example, hello tempeh, or those who are into jackfruit. Today is the jackfruit day, and that's why we have 4 speakers from jackfruit, and Joice is there from Jackfruit World, and we have Wakao Foods, and we also have Jackfruit 365. So ensuring that the amazing benefits of tempeh, the fermented soybean, and jackfruit are also available to all of you, which is part of the plant-based foods. So plant-based foods is more than nuggets and burgers. And sometimes the meat industry and dairy industry comes down heavily on us by talking about those aspects which are not the whole of us, which is only a part of us. And sometimes we find that people amongst our own industry try to dissociate themselves by saying, no, 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 we are on the whole food side and you are on the processed food side. So my appeal to all of you is that we are plant-based foods. We are developing the science, and also we are inventing newer and newer ways of making uh, the the foods more accessible, bioavailable to our body, and the foods which are less or zero on chemicals, clean label, and they bring in the benefits of what the whole foods bring in. So how do we make sure that the bioavailability of protein goes up, and yet the food are absolutely better than the natural form or equal to the natural form in terms of digestibility and other positive impact on our health? Because this is an era that nobody wants to consume over processed food. So we should not be, we shouldn't get away with the snacking revolution which is going on. We should find out that if at all we have in between meals, those in between meals should be plant-based, and those should be from our industry, and we should be able to provide those meals in a very, very uh, healthy way. So there's a positive impact on health while we take advantage of this revolution in snacking which is going on. So we do not fall prey to those products which are absolutely over processed and unhealthy. So this is our opportunity today. And today, before I invite our star speaker, that is Captain Campbell, I would request our team members to introduce themselves. I'll start with the Narhari and Indra. Narhari has not joined, so Aditi.
Yeah, sure, sir. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Aditi Sharma. And so diabetes is a subject that is very close to everyone's families, because someone or the other that they know is usually going through it. And the same is the case for me. And I guess it must be for you. And earlier, there was no awareness. We thought that, okay, it could be sugar consumption that you need to cut down upon. But if at that point we had this awareness, especially for my relatives, that plant-based foods could help not only prevent but also reverse something like diabetes, we could have done a lot more. So it is, I think, it is an honor for all of us to be sitting here. And the subject is very close to Sir's heart as well. We've been hearing him talk about his experience personally also during our interactions. So this is something that we definitely wanted to do really well. And we feel very honored to have gathered such experienced and knowledgeable set of people here to teach us about it. And Dr. Campbell, of course, it is an honor to have you here. It is an honor to listen to you again. So we are looking forward to hearing from all of you and show people that there is so much that we can do with plant-based foods. It's along with sustainability, animal welfare, there is a big, big health aspect to it, which we are going to touch upon today. So looking forward to this. Thank you.
Okay, Medha, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Medha Gupta, and I'm working in PBFIA as a senior manager. I think it's a privilege to have Dr. Campbell today. And also, we have a wonderful lineup of speakers who's going to share a lot of good insights about plant-based nutrition, specific in managing your diabetes and reversing the diabetes, and also optimizing your health, including your gut health. I have a small presentation. If sir allows, I can proceed with it.
Yeah, before you do that, Medha, Narari has joined. Narari, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Sure, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Narhari Gupta, and I'm working as an innovation specialist at the Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. And thank you all for joining today. Today, we will be discussing how plant-based foods are effective towards reversing diabetes and creating a better gut health So please stay tuned in as we have an amazing lineup of speakers. And I hope that you will take a lot of good tips from these amazing lineup of speakers today. Thank you all for joining.
Okay, I also see Dr. Vidyarthi, Dr. VK Vidyarthi from APIDA in the audience. Dr. VK Vidyarthi, if you could kindly unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Very warm welcome. Hello, Dr. Vidyarthi.
Namaskar and good afternoon to everyone. Pranam and Abhinandan Swagatam from APIDA. I am very thankful to Mr. Sanjay to organize this virtual webinar on how the plant-based foods will deal the diabetes. And there are known facts that Indian millets has a great potential to deal this. And I have a testimony from Jabalpur from one of the scientists that the ragi millet is very good to cure the diabetes. He has cited the example of himself and his mother-in-law. In the ragi, there is a big potential to deal with the diabetes. And as you know, all the millets we can market them as a plant-based food products. Moreover, these plant-based products, if they are originated from millets, they will have a additional value also, because all the millets are in the rain-fed area, mainly in India. In the rain-fed area, plants bear the maximum stress, and with minimum nutrients, the plants will survive. If we consume food which pass through a stress, it will improve the stress power of a person, those who consume the products of the millets from the stressed food. So it's a good potential. Once again, thank you to Sanjay Sethi for his valuable contribution in the industry, and I request him to go ahead more and more steps to popularize this plant-based foods across the world, and India can leave imprints across the world in this sector. Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Dr. Vidyarthi. Now that we have the blessings from Government of India, Medha, you can now start your presentation. So 5 minutes, and then we bring in Dr. Campbell.
Okay. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
Okay, so as we all are aware that India has become the diabetes capital of the world. We have seen that 101.
Do you want to maximize the screen?
Yeah, my screen is on
the right in top. Right in top. There is an arrow on the right in top. Yes, this is good.
Yeah. So as we all know that India has become the diabetes capital, where recently ICMR has stated that 101 million people are diabetic in India, and around 15% population have become pre-diabetic, and they're looking for prevention. So this is the status of the country right now. And over the past few decades, we have seen globally as well that diabetes is on the rise, and even the incidence of obesity and overweight is on the rise, which is a contributing factor, again, for the lifestyle disorders like hypertension and diabetes. Even recently, the NFHS 5 also tried to state that 1 in 10 obese individual has a higher blood glucose level. And there are 14% of the adults who are taking medications currently who are seen to have a higher blood glucose level. So what to do about such a situation? So diabetes is basically regulated by different areas. There's a genetic angle to it. There's also a lifestyle angle. There's also an environmental angle to it. So your stress factors, the food we take, the activities we perform, and even the genes that we carries all together plays and leads to diabetes. And it's very interesting also that we Indians are actually genetically predisposed to diabetes. We already have a risk because of our body composition. So if we compare a European or an American and an Indian, even if we have a similar BMI, the Indians are more likely to have a more fat composition into their body. And that's the reason we are at a risk of having diabetes like disorders. So there are certain things which we cannot eliminate, but we can obviously work on our lifestyle factors, which the diet and the nutrition part and the physical activity part is something which is in our control. And this is what this figure is also trying to depict, that our nutrition, about our gut microbiome, things like stress responses, things like aging, all of them are responsible and together either leading to a type 1 diabetes or a type 2 diabetes. Type 1 is little difficult to manage because for the type 1, the genes play a major role, whereas type 2 diabetes can be managed, can be prevented, and can be reversed with our lifestyle factors. There was a recent study in the Lancet which has described that the processed meat products or unprocessed meat products, fish, seafood, dairy products, so they contributed to be seen as a higher or a moderate source or a moderate risk factors for the diabetes. And the study also stated that a diet which is moderately low in total carbohydrate, but it contains high plant-based protein and fat, this is associated with a lower risk of diabetes. So which is a very big discovery in itself. And recently, last year, the ICMR also released stating that we have been seeing that carbohydrate is the one which is to be regulated, but they also stated that we should try to reduce the percentage of our energy from carbohydrate and increase the protein intake so that we are able to better manage diabetes. So this is like a brief depiction about how a plant-based plate should look like when we are there to control our diabetes. So we should be focusing more on the non-starchy vegetables, which has okra, ladyfinger, bottle gourd, bitter gourd, capsicum. And we should be focusing more on complex carbs and fibers. So as Sir stated that jackfruit, today is a jackfruit day. So jackfruit is a very so jackfruit itself contains lot of carbohydrate in it and lot of fiber in it. And it is also a low glycemic load food product, which is an excellent food product to have to control your diabetes. The focus can be on plant proteins. There are several sources like soya bean, your kidney beans, which is rajma, your peas, peanuts, pulses, and focus could be on healthy food fats such as nuts, hemp seeds, and chia seeds. So this is a depiction about different food items having a different glycemic index and glycemic load. A lot of people sometimes have confusion. I've seen people asking me also that should they be consuming watermelon or not? But if we see watermelon has a glycemic load, very low glycemic load. So having a 1 cup of watermelon is recommended and it's good to have it because it has a lot of water composition in it. And 1 cup is not there to increase or spike the blood glucose level. Similarly, there's a lot of food products like coconut water, which also has a low glycemic load, which can also be consumed. So this picture basically can help to those individuals who want to know that what can be consumed and what cannot be consumed. So I'm just briefing up about PBFIA as well. We are a CEO-led body, and we are there to expedite the advancement of plant-based sector in India. So we have 100 plus members currently, and we are also the founding member of International Plant-Based Food Working Group. So this is the portrayal of our members, and there are a lot of members who are working on very functional foods, which Mr. Vidyarthi was also stating that there are companies who are working on ragi. They are preparing a millet-based milk. or millet-based other products as well. There are companies working with jackfruit and creating plant-based meat with jackfruits. There are companies using hemp proteins, using soya bean in different format like tempeh. So there are different products and different companies working and utilizing functional products. There's also a company which is working on vitamin D coming from a plant-based food source. So there's a lot of advancement happening in the sector, both on the side of plant-based meat and on the functional aspects. Recently, we have been doing a lot of engagements to uplift the industry as well and increase the ecosystem. So this is the glimpse of the first plant-based summit that happened in 2022, which was in collaboration with Ministry of Food Processing Industries and APIDA. This is the glimpse from our second event that happened in 2023 during AHAR. The name of the event was Dawn of a Plant-Based Age. And we can see that Minister of Agriculture, Shri Narendra Singh Tomar, graced the occasion. And we were able to, he was able to see what are the strengths lies in plant-based food industry and what kind of linkages Minister of Agriculture can also bring in. This is a glimpse from the recent event that we have. It was a wonderful event supported again by APIDA, Ministry of Food Processing Industry and Ministry of Agriculture. So in this event, we had 1,500 individuals who came as a delegate. And this time, 60 companies actually exhibited their food products there. And we had around 30 speakers coming in and talking about policy aspects, talking about supply chain, about innovation, and about investment and way forwards for the industry. So PBFI has been doing active work, and we are also curating a lot of market research and understanding about the market. So we have come up with 5 reports, which is easy to download from our website as well. And we are right now focused on catalyzing a project which is called as Plant Protein Cluster, which aims that we can solve the raw material shortage problem of the world. And India can stand very strong in becoming a plant protein hub, because we have a lot of good raw materials where we can process it, utilize it, and can sell it to the local players as well as to the globe. That's it, a brief presentation, and I will request Mr. Sanjay Sethi to come again and moderate this session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Medha, for this wonderful presentation on diabetes and PBFIA. So with this, I welcome you, Dr. Colin Campbell. You are a living legend in our sector. You are our guru. You are now, I know Dr. Campbell is speaking right way in the midnight from the US. And what time it is, Dr. Campbell? Congratulations to you for the American Independence Day today.
5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, 5 o'clock. So you have been with us since last 1 hour. And thank you for your time. And I know you always talk about circadian rhythm and keeping a good sleep. And today we disturbed your circadian rhythm. So over to you. So please, floor is yours.
Okay, well, thank you, Sanjay, and thank you especially for this invitation to speak to this group. By the way, it's especially significant for me because the word plant-based was coined by me in the late 1970s in the United States when I was on a committee of cancer and diet. Hello?
Wonderful, wonderful. Continue, please.
Oh, yes. And so in any event, I've been in this business for a very long time, more than 6 decades. And I want to... Sorry, why?
Requesting everyone to mute yourself. I don't want to mute all because then Dr. Campbell may not be able to unmute. So Dr. Campbell, please continue. There are some people who have unmuted themselves by mistake. Please continue.
Should I start again, you said?
No, please continue. Oh,
so I've been in this business for a very long time, more than 6 decades. And so I learned a lot, and I would like to speak to the idea that this kind of diet works especially well for diabetes. It actually reverses diabetes, but even more significantly, it's the same formula for controlling heart disease and to a great extent cancer and kidney disease and so forth. So what I'm talking about works equally well for the other major diseases at the same time. And I call it the whole food plant-based diet. Now, in talking about this, it can be very complex and argumentative. And so in order for the world and the society to really get a fully understanding of this, it's important we start out first with understanding the science. The science is critical. When we get the science right, then this can be used to create a conversation about human health, obviously. Then if we have the science right, we have the health right, then that model then can be used for actually commercializing it. Because without the opportunity of being able to commercialize this idea, it's rather hard to sell. Now, my study started actually, ironically, with a study from India in 1968. At that time, researchers by the name of Mathew and Gopalan at the Institute at Hyderabad, they had this idea that nutrition could affect hepatitis B virus cancer. And so they tried in an experimental animal study to see if increasing protein, that means animal-based protein, if increasing animal-based protein could control this hepatitis B virus cancer. What they learned, it was exactly the opposite. When animal protein is increased, the cancer grows faster. It was dramatic. It was like 100 to nothing, 100% versus 0% when they compare it with low protein. So the animal protein was very, very strong. I was working in the Philippines at that time with malnourished children, and we were interested in increasing protein for these children. But here was a study showing that increasing animal protein increased cancer. So that was the start of my career during the 1960s. I wanted to know, is it true that animal protein increases experimental cancer? So this led to many, as I say, many years of research for me and many students working with me at the same time. What we learned was that when we watched the cancer grow in the very early stages, we could actually turn on the cancer, and we could also turn it off. So in other words, when we changed the diet from high protein to low protein, back to high protein, back to low protein, we could turn on the cancer. It was very dramatic. And that convinced me that this is true. I had come from a farm, milking cows actually, and I did my doctoral dissertation on promoting the consumption of more animal protein. So this demonstration in many different ways, this demonstration really convinced me that eating animal protein is not good. It turns on cancer. It also increases blood cholesterol, increases the risk for heart disease, and obviously it also increases the risk for chronic kidney disease and diabetes, the topic you're interested in. So then after that, the next question was, this is so dramatic and most people won't believe it, and not even the Indian workers believed it. They stopped their research. So I then had to determine what is the way it works. What's the biochemistry of this? So we looked for so-called mechanisms. We learned, for example, that the high protein diet increased the entry of the chemical carcinogen into the cell. We also learned that high protein diet enzymatically increases metabolism to produce a product that bound to DNA. So and then over about 15 years, I kept looking for the mechanism, because if we found the mechanism, then some people would believe that we could use the drug in order to control this problem. What we learned after about 15 years, there is no single mechanism. A whole lot of mechanisms, really crucial mechanisms, could be turned on and turned off by this diet. Very dramatic. And they all operate together. They operate like a symphony. It's amazing. So the whole idea of nutrition working by one nutrient at a time, or even one food, is very short-sighted. What really matters is eating all of our diet should be plant-based. And we should not add back plant parts like added oil or sugar or salt. We have to be very careful about that. We should be eating the whole food. We can cook it different ways. We can use a variety of plant foods, and we can get the same result. And also, most importantly, we could reverse diseases that are already existent. For example, my colleagues here in the United States could reverse heart disease dramatically. We can reverse diabetes. The reversal of diabetes is almost immediate. In a matter of 10, maybe 15 days, if people get on this diet, we can reverse the diabetes. And virtually completely. But the important part of this idea is that most people, they can do it for 10 days. They see the results, it's very impressive. They can go off their drugs, but then they don't want to continue it. The secret to that idea is if they can stay on it for at least, some cases, 1 month or maybe 2 months. If they stay on it, no switching back, the body becomes accustomed to that way of eating. Once we become accustomed to that way of eating, and we can use spices and herbs and make it very attractive and so forth, that's okay, just as long as we eat plant-based foods. So then, in more recent years, I looked at the relationship between the consumption of animal protein and different disease rates, such as kidney cancer, heart disease, breast cancer, prostate cancer, and so forth. And so I have a lot of, it's published in the scientific literature. It's very clear now that the relationship between plant-based diets, that's no animal protein, the relationships between the amount of animal protein diets, for example, and disease rates is the same. It's a linear regression that starts at baseline. In other words, as soon as what we see in these, when comparing countries around the world, as soon as people start adding animal protein foods to their diet, the disease rates start to increase. Obviously not for everyone, but the rates start to increase, and so more and more people are getting those diseases. It's very dramatic, and it's a linear regression. If I had the slides, I could show you. So animal foods is not good. Now, one thing to remember, when we eat animal protein-based foods, we're actually decreasing the consumption of plant-based foods. So the two go hand in hand. So we don't need any animal food. And then we just stay with the plant foods and we get these results. It's remarkable. Now, I will finish by saying one thing. This is a very dramatic, for me, it was a very dramatic observation. And I wrote a book, and it's been translated into 50 foreign languages, and it's going around the world now. But the important part is when we talk about this, we have a lot of friends and a lot of colleagues that don't agree. I want to say something. Go back to what I said first. Get the science right. understand is quite simple when you look at it, the slides. Get the science right, then the health gets right, and at that point in time, now we can talk about commercializing this. And of course, in order for something like this to work in society, it basically has to be able to make a monetary profit, if you will. But that's why I say do science first, really understand it, then recognize what it can do for human health. Then in turn, we can support our colleagues who wish to sort of make a profit or make a business out of it. So thank you very much, and I'm very pleased to present to you. Wish you well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Campbell. I just say that your words are absolutely echoing in my mind right now. And you say that it's very dramatic. Just in a gap of 10 to 15 days, you can reverse it. And if you stay on this diet for about a month or so, your body gets used to this kind of a diet and you start to relish it with some uses of spices and herbs. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank
Hello,
you,
Sanjay.
Yes.
Sanjay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Can I just mention one more thing?
Yes.
Yeah. I have a link.
Continue,
Hello?
Continue, Dr. Campbell.
Okay. I have a link. I was going to show you. Failed to show you. My son has created a film of this 10-day trial with a group of people, and there's a movie. It just won first place in the Los Angeles Film Festival, so it's a really good film. Just taking a group of people and see what they do. I also have another link. He has a program, a company, and a nonprofit both. I would like to send those links to you.
Yes.
And suggest that you see these films. Not very long, but
we'll share it.
very
We will also forward it to our members, and we will be very happy to share it with the larger community through our media.
It's focused on diabetes, by the way.
Wonderful. So also ask him to give me his number as well, or you please forward his number, and it will be very useful to stay in touch with him and possibly invite him to some of our future programs. And Dr. Campbell, it will be great if you stay back with us on this program. But in case you want to go back and catch up on your sleep, you can please do that, because you have to get up and take part in the celebrations for the Independence Day.
Yeah, I can stay for just a few minutes.
Yes.
I've got to go back because I got another appointment earlier this morning.
Once again, thank you very much, Dr. Campbell, and we will stay in touch. So Plant-Based Foods Industry Association has a reach through our various handles and through our email EDMs that we send out to about 500,000 people. So we are able to reach out to those 500,000 people. You can say that we have an army of about 10,000 volunteers and plant-based foods believers and vegans who are helping us to take this message forward day by day. The result is such that the plant-based foods are available in every nook and corner of the metro cities in India, and people are now talking about various things. I see that Ajit Kumar is also going to sleep along with you. So very nice seeing you, Ajit. This is looking so nice. At least one person is really enjoying himself. So more you enjoy, more you'll be able to handle the diabetes. So now, thank you once again, Dr. Campbell. So we carry on with our very strong lineup of speakers, and I request now, first of all, Joice from Jackfruit World, Joice Mathew. So Joice, once again, congratulations for the Jackfruit Day today. We have 3 speakers from Jackfruit, one by one. I request all 3 of them to come. One is Joice Mathew, and then we have James Joseph from Jackfruit 365, and then we also have Sairaj John, the founder of our Workout Foods and the pride of Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. So we start with you from Red Dot, Joice. And Joyce, first I'm going to mute everyone, and then you unmute yourself again, because I believe that somebody has unmuted himself.
Okay.
Over to you, Joyce.
Good afternoon all.
So it turns out, hello, Joyce, the sound is coming from your system. So my request to you is that you please fix it. Maybe it is your fan or it is your computer or something. So we call you next. But before that, let me call Sairaj John from Bokau Food. Sairaj. Sairaj is also not available, I think. So we go to now James Joseph from Jackfruit 365. James. So all the Jackfruit guys are celebrating the Jackfruit Day. And with this, we talk about all other members of PBFIA who are churning out with some healthy, amazing foods. So because, today we came to this meeting to put up a good front in front of the plant-based whole food walas, because every time we come, they give us a punch and we don't know where to look at. So today we have front rolled some of our members who are putting such amazing products like fermented tempeh. So, Sid, are you there? Siddharth Ramasubramanian is the founder of Vegelution, the brand Hello Tempeh, and he is the man who started tempeh in India. Sid, are you there?
I think it's
okay.
Sorry?
Sid,
Yeah,
Sid,
I'm
over
here.
to you. Yes.
Yeah, hi Sanjay, how are you? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, please continue.
Okay, great. Well, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity to say a few words about sort of preventative foods and how food can make a difference in people's health. So I'm Siddharth, and we started Vegelution, and specifically a brand called Hello Tempeh. And our entire mission was to sort of introduce this, what we believe is a magical food, into the daily lives of Indian homes. And there was a multitude of purposes around this mission, protein being a very significant one. And as tempeh was new to me about 5 or 6 years ago, when I started really understanding the ingredient, it's one of those things that sort of reveals itself more and more as you get to know it. It has various nooks and corners of benefits that one kind of could continue learning for a lifetime, which is what excited us the most about it, is that it was a multidimensional ingredient. And it's not something we invented or created, it's really centuries old. And my firm belief is that any food group from any part of the world that has stood the test of time, like tempeh has, or in India, so many various other kinds of foods have, that it is not only backed by science, it is also backed by great ancestry. And the fact that foods generally don't transcend generation to generation unless those generations have vastly benefited from its consumption. So that's what thrilled us about introducing this new ingredient. It's not so new in a global level, but it's definitely new to India. And one of the interesting, really important pieces of the tempeh puzzle was how beneficial it is as an ingredient for type 2 diabetics. First and foremost, for those that may not know what tempeh is, it is made by fermenting soybeans, non-GMO soybeans. It's in essence a 3-ingredient product. It's non-GMO soybeans, water, and a fermentation culture that come together to create tempeh as a block. And as this very simple ingredient is super rich in protein, in lean protein, and not only is it rich in protein, it's really high in fiber as well. So the combination of being rich in protein and high in fiber and extremely low in net carbs automatically gives this food has a very low glycemic index. And as we discovered, And as we've seen studies from Taiwan to the US to Netherlands, we have seen the positive impact this food has made is for people who are going through type 2 diabetes or even people who are pre-diabetic. The low sustained release of energy, not giving people sugar spikes, enabling people to feel full and not feel like they have to continually sort of snack or munch and various other things. From a very practical standpoint, which is where I start every conversation around food, it was a food that gave immediate benefit. Um, uh, Beyond the fact that it absorbs flavors and is versatile and people can cook and enjoy eating with it, from a science standpoint, the soy isoflavones have great antioxidant properties, right? And so we have seen nutritionists and doctor after doctor, from Luke Coutinho to so many other nutritionists we work with, who are now recommending this because it lowers the circulating insulin levels. It is known scientifically to lower LDL and triglyceride levels, improved insulin resistance and sensitivity. And it is a natural food that is made of 3 ingredients that's delivering these kinds of benefits. And in a country that type 2 diabetes index is high on type 2 diabetes and has the high carbohydrate consumption patterns that we do, we felt beyond just filling the protein gap in India, we remain extremely excited about the opportunity Tempeh offers in the landscape. So very pleased to be part of not just the panel, but really part of the landscape of how not just existing ingredients, but how new ingredients from other parts of the world with their fantastic powers can contribute to India. So thanks for the opportunity, Sanjay.
Okay, thank you so much, Sid. I know that soybean has all 9 amino acids just like hemp. And I don't know whether Rohit is here from hemp. We will also call him. But in the meantime, Joice is back. Joice, have you fixed your mic?
Sir, is it okay now? Are you?
Yes, it's better. Yes, it's clear.
Okay. So shall I start? Okay. Good afternoon, all. Today, as Sanjay Saab mentioned already, today is a jackfruit day. Congratulating each one of you to working in jackfruit industry and especially who is all jackfruit lovers. So basically, today I represent a company called Jackfruit World. Basically, okay. So what is our project? I will be explaining later. So jackfruit and diabetics will be the one which what is the one point which I wanted to talk actually today. So jackfruit is a tropical fruit, as everybody knows. This is one of the largest fruit which grown in the trees. So in India, around 20 states, jackfruit is growing. Out of 20 states, approximately 7 to 8 states are actually major producers of jackfruit. It's also a good source of dietary fiber and antioxidant, and it has so many other medicinal properties and values are there. So, and this is one of the good product which is for diabetic patients, especially it can be one of the good source to reverse type 2 diabetics. Actually, we have one more speaker, which is James Joseph from Jackfruit 365. He's actually done a lot of researches in that. So he has actually proven, medicinal reports. Basically, it was scientific reports. He actually grabbed it from different universities. So I actually been representing Jackfruit World because Jackfruit. I am trying to be giving a jackfruit, medicinal value with respect to the diabetics. So jackfruit is a low, glycemic index products actually. Okay, so which means the people who has been regularly using jackfruit, they can actually reduce the glycemic index, glycemic values, and they can control the blood sugar. So people, and it has a lot of dietary fibers. So now fiber is one of the good resources for us to actually maintaining our, so many blood cells and so many advantages of the so many our health problems actually, and antioxidant. It has so many vitamins included, vitamin C, vitamin D. So many vitamins are actually included in jackfruit. So jackfruit is one of the crop which you can see, the vegan industry is very much, especially we have today. I believe Sairaj also will be there. So Sairaj and all has been producing so many, jackfruit, vegan fruits. So vegan fruits is one of the fastest industry in the world, basically, So jackfruit is one of the best ingredient in jackfruit. I mean, in vegan industry, like plant-based meat alternate market. So, but all we talking about jackfruit. Some of the things very important with jackfruit. Jackfruit is very good in vegetable. It is a very good fruit. It can be a very good vegan food. It can be an animal feed. So it can be a lot of things we can use. But it all this required a different raw material. Basically, jackfruit has a different harvesting stages. So this is something which will be like, unknowingly people are actually using this one. So that's what today jackfruit farmers are not even getting, any income basically from jackfruit production. So coming back to in Kerala and all, like I from Kerala. So here the farmers are actually barely getting 10 rupees, 20 rupees for a jackfruit, complete jackfruit, which is 10 to 20 jackfruit. So which means it's barely nothing per kg, less than 1 rupees they're getting actually from the farms. Okay, whereas jackfruit is actually having so many medicinal values, and it can be grow even including the diabetic, and it can be used in a different stages for different industry purpose. So ripe jackfruit cannot be used for so sugar, I mean diabetic kind of a usage. So we need an unripe jackfruit, and at certain stages we need to be tracked properly to get the industrial usage for vegan industry, especially for the vegetable industry, and especially for the other products, which is flour and kind of a products which you make it for the diabetic usage. Okay, so here this is what jackfruit well plays actually here. So what jackfruit well does, basically we connect from farmers, we connect from jackfruit trees with geo-talking based on the industry requirements. So we connect the farmer to industry to the market. So this is an informatic value chain, network value chain. This is the first time we developing informatic value chain with support of Shobit University and Krishi Vignana Kendra, KVK, ICAR KVKs. So developing this one for completely for for jackfruit farmers and industry experts and for the traders. So basically, we believe that with the Jackfruit World technology platform, we can able to generate so many industries, so many production units who can able to come up and develop standard products like quality products for vegan industry, especially which can be suitable for reducing the diabetic for normal peoples. So this is all from my side. Any question with respect to this jackfruit, please get in touch with me. I can able to help you to explain on those things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joice. So we have amongst us today a very esteemed member of PBFIA, Continental Coffee CCL Coffee, and they are a leading player, a listed company. Their CEO is present today on our group, and requesting Parveen Japaria to kindly introduce yourself. Parveen, people have not seen your face, and recently you acquired 6 brands, one after another, 6 brands in the UK. And so what are you up to? And is it that plant-based Indian companies are going overseas with those distribution network, amazing network that you have acquired? So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjay ji, for calling me here. Actually, it's a big pleasure to listen to all of you. And in fact, when Sanjay ji was asking me to give a small introduction, I said that it is so good to listen that I don't want to talk now, in a forum like this, because sometimes it's far more pleasurable to listen than to talk. So thanks to all the participants who are putting in such nice information and knowledge around this. Yes, we have been a coffee company for last 25 years, and we did nothing except coffee. But interestingly, we ventured into plant-based food products, and this is primarily because at our core we have sustainability concept. We have always had at our core, and so much so that we design our plants and other equipments which are very environment friendly, right from zero waste to 100% recycling of water and things like that. So then we decided, okay, which is the category which probably would interest us, and we thought that this is a very interesting category because it actually connects with the ethos of the company, and that's how we entered this category. And Sanjay ji, yeah, to answer your question, we would love to do that. Take our products internationally. Yes, we have a very good network across the globe. And in whatever form or manner that is possible, we will definitely look forward to kind of, take things everywhere. India also, I think there is a huge scope to, grow this category in various forms and this thing. And the firm belief that I have is that, somebody had said, some philosopher or some, medicine person, that food is thy medicine. So I firmly believe that a lot of problem that mankind will face can be solved by food, and plant-based products are one such area where it can do miracles and wonders in the future. So yeah, that's a little bit of thing from my side, and over to all of you, and would love to keep listening from everyone.
Thank you, Praveen, for your beautiful words. And through this platform, I have two requests for you. My first request is kindly do not see these young startups as your competitors. Be like a big brother to them and take them abroad. I mean, don't
Right.
look at the profitability because they don't have the might of CCL, and you can take them, and you will also obviously develop all the products that you want. But we don't have a vehicle like yours who can deliver their products internationally. So kindly be their customer instead of being their competitor. Maybe you can invest into that. And second request is that the plant-based clusters, the 12 clusters are now conceived, and we are approaching organizations like APIDA to kindly recognize them and maybe notify them. Dr. VK Vidyarthi is there on the platform. He had visited the first plant protein cluster meeting in Nagpur last year. And now a few days back, I and Aditi had visited Egypt, exactly the same place where Prime Minister had gone and talked about the SEZ, the Suez Canal SEZ. So we are trying to find out whether we can get the amazing US soybean over there and Indian proteins to that place and mix and match and serve the European, Middle Eastern, and African markets. But in the meantime, the 12 clusters in India are likely to be a reality first, and the first one might come up in Bhiwadi, where land has already been identified but not acquired. So we request you to kindly make a financial investment, not less than 5 crores, in this venture. So this would be probably one of the best investments that you would have made, because this will help the whole industry.
Sure, Sanjay. Both the things absolutely worth considering it and seriously considering it. We're all up to it. We'll take it up in our separate discussions regarding both of them. And yeah, anybody who kind of feels that they want to use our network or any collaboration, please feel free to reach out to me. Sanjay ji has my coordinate, so we'll be happy to collaborate with anyone. We ourselves, Sanjay ji, we treat ourselves as startup only. So we don't see ourselves as big brothers. So we are brothers in arms and not big brothers. So we will do things together. Yeah.
So nice, so nice. Thank you. So now I request Aditi to kindly write down the email ID of Parveen or maybe Pritham for this chat, so that if anybody wants to reach out to CCL directly, they can write to them directly as well. Of course, you can reach us. So first of all, I would request Dr. Rashi Tiwari, who is the nutritional consultant, to come in and guide us how to manage our diabetes. I know that some of you heard when Dr. Campbell was speaking, and it looks like सूरज को दिया दिखाने वाली बात हो गई, but you guys are also having your unique research and your own perspective. And Dr. Rashi Tiwari is a celebrity, nutritionist and doctor, and she is herself suffered this diabetes and managed it well. And usually she charges a very fat fee to talk to you, but today it is free. Over to you, Dr. Rashi.
Good afternoon, all, and thank you, Sanjay, so much for inviting me in this forum. It's really an honor. So yeah, I mean, I'm am a scientist by training. So I'm a PhD in biochemistry. And I realized that, just publishing papers is not my cup of tea. I would like to do something for the people. I want to see change in people. And that's when, I started reading about nutrition. And since my background in biochemistry, it's quite, gelling well together. And yes, I also did a course with Dr. Colin Campbell, and that was amazing and eye-opening, like experience for me. And I myself was suffering from hypothyroid, not diabetes actually. I was just suffering from migraine and hypothyroid, and I got reversed just by changing to plant-based diet. So I was already brought up as a vegetarian. So the only thing I had to quit was dairy. And I was like, it was unbelievable for me to imagine that, oh my God, how can I reverse everything just by quitting one single thing, that is dairy. And later on, with lot of studies and certifications and diplomas, I did my own research on how this is happening, and now I'm healing a lot of people. So I've started my own consultancy called Ananas Nutrition Consultancy, where I heal people with lifestyle diseases, especially complicated cases where allopathic doctors have given up. I like to take such cases because they are challenging and it's a research topic for me. So every client is a project for me. Yeah, so I would like to talk a little bit about diabetes. We should first understand what is diabetes, right? So most of us, we think that sugar is the cause of diabetes. Now we should understand that sugar is the currency with which our body works. We require sugar. Every single cell of our body requires sugar. So sugar is absolutely not cause of diabetes. So what happens is every cell has to get sugar from whatever we are eating. We metabolize directly or indirectly into sugar. And when the insulin is helping the sugar to get into the cell, that is when all the cells are actually happy and full of energy. But what happens in type 2 diabetes is the insulin is unable to get in the sugar molecule into the cell. That's when it is more in circulation and we think that we have high sugar and we are suffering from diabetes. So basically, the reason the insulin is not able to put in the sugar moiety is because of the fat that is blocking. So fat is the main source of main cause of diabetes. Now plants are rich of fiber. Okay, so cellulose is only present in plant foods. No animal food, including dairy, has fiber in it. So unless our physiology is such that we are designed to consume only plant-based food, because our body has a natural knack of healing itself, and if we follow the laws of nature by eating what is actually designed for us, that is plants, we can naturally heal ourselves. But with lots of evolution and our own cognitive powers and too much of knowledge, we have developed a lot of ways to process food, and this is how we are unable to treat and let our body heal itself. So I have not seen in my career not a single person who is suffering from diabetes on a plant-based diet. Okay, so that's something that we need to remember. If you are not on plant-based diet, you might end up in suffering from diabetes. But if you are on a plant-based diet, it is highly unlikely, because I have not met anyone who is suffering from diabetes on plant-based diet. Okay, so yeah, I would like to just also tell you that I have recently started a cafe which is completely plant-based and whole food. And this is basically to serve my clients who were healing and they didn't have a place to go and eat, because I had asked them not to eat pizza, burger, or anything, which is absolutely junk. So they were like, where do we go? And so that's when the idea of the cafe started. And I make, plant-based ice creams, which are homemade. I make pizza. I make lots of sweets that are dairy-free and sugar-free and oil-free. So it's a whole food plant-based cafe in Bangalore. Yeah, and I'm open to any collaborations in future with anybody who is interested in this products and empowering people with lots of plant-based foods that are healthy for body, and also muscle building. We have a notion that we can only build muscles if you are having animal-based protein, but that is absolutely not true. So I had a lot of clients who had built their muscles, who had built their stamina just by leaving dairy and leaving animal proteins and animal food from their diet. Yeah, I think I'm open to any questions. I'll be very happy to answer any of your questions. And I do consultations online, so I have clients all over the world. So if anyone is suffering from such diseases, any lifestyle diseases, including diabetes, I'll be really happy to help. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari. So I'm now requesting Sunil, who is a fitness guru. He comes from a totally different background. So based out of Pune, my experience of interactions with Sunil has been absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure that Sunil is going to tell us something absolutely new, refreshing. Sunil, are you there?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, Sunil.
Hi, good afternoon to all.
I can see you are
first of all,
getting younger by the day.
I'll come to that also. I have a certain philosophy which I keep following in my life, and I try to tell and pass it on to people also. But before we start, I would like to say that it's a very a rare encounter which we at least have once in a lifetime, where we come across a living legend. And thanks to Sanjay, that we got to actually see and meet and hear Dr. Campbell, who's basically for me is the father of the plant-based, what we are talking of right now, completely, food. So thank you, Sanjay, for that. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. A bit about myself. I'm actually an accidental fitness guru. I have been training, I've been working out and been in the health industry for the last, you could say, over a decade in the industry. But personally, I have been exercising for the last 3 decades plus. So having come back to India, that's when I realized that there is a dearth of, your trainers out here who really don't know exactly how to go about, when it comes to the training and anything. So any new one who comes to the gym, I'll be talking to you all exceptionally from the physical attributes of it, right? So when you go to the gym, the first thing the trainer wants you to do is, you have to start on this particular protein, you have to start on this particular amino acids, without having knowledge or sense exactly where the person is coming from, what is the background, how much and what is the consumption of protein that person should be taking, or whether it is required also. But this is the kind of trend which has been following. So I said, let me come and change that and break this trend. And I've been successful at it. I've coming to the part of where Sanjay mentioned that I'm looking younger. Yeah, I'm now 50. So it's my 3rd chapter of my life, where I say in 0 to 30 is your first chapter, 30 to 40 is your second, 40 to 50 is your third. And then 50 plus is your 4th chapter, which is you can take it up. So I'm on the 3rd chapter. And whenever I start a new chapter of my life, I tend to regress 5 years back. And taking that ahead, and I keep propagating the same thing to everybody who comes in for my consultations, or who needs my advice on health, about diet. And coming to the part of diabetics, also I have seen a lot of people, especially with the type 2, they have actually got out of medication on 2 major aspects. One was controlling the diet, and secondly was exercising. Have a proper routine exercise regime, which helps you to balance things out. And now with the concept of plant-based, which, as we rightly heard, was actually back in the late 60s by Dr. Campbell, thanks to him, that now it's being more revolutionized. people are getting in more. They're actually beginning to accept it. Because I remember when our earlier speaker, Mr. Hello Tempeh, I was introduced to tempeh in 2008 in China. I was on a visit out there, and that was the first time I actually tasted tempeh. It has a very earthy texture and all that stuff. So first I was under the impression it was tofu, but then they said, no, it isn't. Though it comes from the soy, right? But it is made in a very different way, and it tends to give you more nutritional value, like it has a high protein content compared to tofu, or even as you talk about cottage cheese or your paneer. So that is how I was like introduced to tempeh at that point of time. And then I did come back and I did start talking a lot about tempeh and all, but people were like, what is tempeh? You know, they never knew what is exactly it. But now people are understanding what tempeh is and what are the significant benefits of having tempeh. So plant-based food, yes, I see a lot of that taking, you know, the trend is picking up. And I tell people, I personally never believe in diet. When people come to me, what should I eat and what kind of, you know, food should I be having and all that stuff, I say you eat anything and everything as long as you know how to balance it. When I talk about balances, is basically what you eat, learn to burn it out by your exercising and also have a healthy lifestyle. Now, what is happening in current lifestyle, we tend to forget one thing is sleep. We all are sleep deprived. We are hardly getting 3 to 4 hours of good sleep, but our body needs more than that. So if we have a good amount of sleep, a good diet, and a certain amount of exercise, you're all set for all the chapters of your life. So on this, I would just like to say and conclude that I have also authored a book about. Yes, I have not received the email yet.
Sorry.
Okay, no worries. I will. So I have authored a book called Your Health Unchained, Volume 1, and now very soon my Volume 2 is also going to be released. It's available online, and it's going to be mostly called My Body, My Temple. The reason why I say My Body, My Temple is I personally, in my 45 years of my active lifestyle, I have had a lot of injuries, and with no proper, at those days, we never had good support, good dietitians, good nutritionists, good physios and all that stuff. So it was something, it was a self-attained, self-trained and self-experienced exercises and ways of coming across.
It seems Sunil has dropped off. So may I request Ira to come in, please? Ira Rattan, Reversing Diabetes India.
Thank you so much, Sanjay sir. This is such an honor and such a pleasure. And it was absolutely wonderful to see Dr. Campbell here. I mean, thank you so much for getting him. It was beautiful. And thank you so much for creating amazing transformation in this world, especially with all this protein clusters and the diabetic and awareness that you're causing. It's phenomenal. So coming to me, I'm Ira Rattan. I'm a medical nutritional therapist and a certified diabetes educator with a mission to nutritionally reverse metabolic disorders like diabetes globally. So when we say diabetes, and today's topic being diabetes and the gut health, so what I'm going to basically talk about is diabetic neuropathy. Now, where does diabetic neuropathy actually fit into the diabetic world? It is, may I request you if you could just start my presentation? Yeah, thank you. So where does diabetic neuropathy actually start and fit into the diabetic world, and what actually causes the gut microbiome to cause diseases in this world is what we would be discussing. So these are some of the chronic complications of the diabetes that you see on your laptop. Basically what we see is here is an inflamed diabetic gut microbiome. Now, when we say it is an inflamed diabetic gut microbiome, this itself is the key to all the diabetic complications, all the chronic complications, whether it is diabetic retinopathy causing blindness, whether it is renal degeneration causing the kidney diseases, a nerve damage leading to gangrene and amputations, especially in the lower limbs. Why lower limbs? Because it's the gravitational pull of the blood glucose down to the lower limbs. So it is an amputation and gangrene which can really destroy one's life, to say so. Cardiovascular diseases, stroke, CVDs, cardiovascular diseases, coronary heart diseases, loss of circulation in the arms and legs. So if you see, it's all peripheries of the body. Now, when we say peripheries of the body, what does it exactly mean? Our fingers, our toes, all the peripheries of the body, whether it's the eye, whether it's the brain, that's the place where the nerves, arteries, veins are thin. And when the sticky blood glucose actually fits itself over there, that is the time when the blood flow gets restricted. And when the blood flow gets restricted, there's a consolidation of the blood glucose. When there is a consolidation of blood glucose, it's called hyperglycemia or high blood sugar, or change in your HbA1c, or it means diabetic 14, 13, 12, 7, 8, whatever be the parameter. So when we are going to discuss plant-based food out here, I would really request that the patient is actually given to try at least 3 months to 4 months of plant-based diet to have a self-experience, to understand how the plant-based diet has actually helped him to reverse the diabetes. When we say reverse of the diabetes, it means ulta jana, but we are not compliance, or we are not satisfied with just the word reverse. We want to go into remission of diabetes. So American Diabetes Association, we have really coined the word as diabesity. Now that is for diabetes type 2, where it is like obesity plus the diabetes. But when we are speaking of normoglycemic remission of diabetes criteria, it primarily means, according to the American Diabetes Association, 6 months of reversal of diabetes and 4 months of without any medicine. That is what actually, when we say that we have reversed or we have got the diabetes into the remission and we are free of medicines. Is it possible through plant-based food? Absolutely. And helping the patients to understand them with this self-experience is what actually causes the confidence in them. So coming back to the gut microbiome and how the inflamed gut microbiome actually causes diabetes and can be life-threatening. So I'll be covering two topics out here. I'll be covering hyperglycemia, drives intestinal barrier dysfunction in the gastrointestinal tract. That's what causes inflamed gut microbiome. Diabetic leaky gut as a danger signal for autoimmune diseases. And the 4 hours to revive your diabetic gut health with the plant-based nutrition, of course. So when we say that it is, which can increase diabetic, when intestinal, there's a barrier in between, when we have to pass through the nutrients into the bloodstream. So that barrier has got a good mucus over there, which has got good fatty acids. It's got short chain fatty acids, which is there in coconut milk, which is there, butyrate is what we require. And this mucosal lining actually prevents the inflammation of the intestinal barrier. So when we leave dairy, when dairy has cortisol, we all know dairy has enough stress hormones, cortisol over there, it causes the inflammation over there, it has got insulin-like growth factor, hormones over there, it basically is a source of inflammation. So when we remove dairy and introduce coconut milk over there instead, what do we get? We get short chain fatty acids or the medium chain triglycerides, which are butyrate. This increases the strength of your gut bacteria or the lining on it. This actually prevents intestinal permeability. What happens is with the inflammation is a chingari. आपका inflammation हो गया intestine के अंदर, what happens? Your intestinal lining gets inflamed. As a result, what happens is everything, the infections, the pathogens, Everything starts permeating inside it. When that happens, it leads towards autoimmune disorders like Hashimoto thyroiditis, fibromyalgia, high blood glucose levels, depression, eczema, skin. It can even the simple thing as a brain fog or a PCOD or all these things, attention deficit disorders, allergies, hormonals, chronic fatigue, even celiac disease and even lupus and psoriasis. All these are caused simple by your inflamed gut bacteria. Now, what happens is that if a diabetic patient gets a surgery, this results into a dumping syndrome, gastroparesis, and then causes the dumping syndrome. Now, what happens in a dumping syndrome is that when the stomach, the food in the stomach is not able to pass the food through the intestine, in diabetic patients, it can cause severe hypoglycemia, which can cause coma and death. Now, can all this be reversed? Yes. All this can be completely reversed. Even the autoimmune disorders, rheumatoid arthritis can have a beneficial effect if you reduce your sugar levels. If you reduce your sugar levels, the intestinal permeability stops. Your intestine heals. The body heals. Inflammation gets controlled. It's like a fire extinguisher. आपने बंद कर दिया उसको. Introduce coconut milk, ragi millet milk, fermented milks, nut milks, millet milks. All these are amazing milks, but no dairy milk. Now, when this comes into place and when the coconut milk is there, your gut heals. When your gut heals, your disease heals. When your disease heals, your blood sugar levels go down. When the blood sugar levels go down, we don't need 4 months. That's 120 days of blood cell turnover. We need 1 year to get into the remission of normoglycemic remission of diabetes. Now, I was really happy when Sanjay ji, when we had about the tempeh, and then we had the jackfruit. So what does metmorphin have? What do these medicines have? They have factors in them which will improve the intestinal gut bacteria. And what does tempeh have? It is fermented soy. It has that short chain fatty acids, more than that has the brilliant fiber to lower down the blood sugar levels, basically to reduce the inflammation caused in the intestinal barrier. So that is the key. When we have jackfruit, it has that kind of actually cellulose or the fiber inside it, which is going to cause the effect of stopping the inflammation in the gut bacteria. That is why it is extremely important. That is why it is extremely important that we build up the gut strength. How are we going to build up the gut strength? They are the 4 R's that we require. The 4 R's that we require is remove everything which causes inflammation. Your dairy, your corn, your arachidonic acid found in the non-veg food. It is the only arachidonic acid which is found only in the non-veg food. We don't get it anywhere else. So if we stop the consumption of this increased amount of salt or the sugar, we remove those things, caffeine, alcohol, we remove such things, gluten, we remove all inflammatory substances which harm your gut health. And then the second R, we replace it with things which are going to build up a good bacteria. Now, when we say good bacteria, it is fermented idli, it is fermented millet idli, it is fermented soy, the tempeh, it is fermented, it is absolute jackfruit that we have, brilliant food. But then these things, miso, it is also your simply to build the socrate, rice kanji. We can have millet kanji. It is wonderful. We can have red rice kanji. It is even more healthier. Kefir, banana, cabbage, prebiotics and the probiotics food. They are the ones that actually really help. And when we say re-inoculate or repair, we primarily mean that for first 4 months.
But dispatch karo, koi dikkat nahi.
Oh, somebody speaking. The first 4 months, we actually simply kombucha, all these things, traditional nut milks, we focus on the gut. And for the rest 6 months, we taper it down, we help it to repair, and we help it to maintain. That is how we kind of reverse the diabetes when we repair the gut. And this is just, thank you so much, Sanjay ji, for having me on this platform to be able to help. And, even if one person can be helped, I would be happy.
Thank you, Ira. I wish you go on and on and on. It was such a great pleasure listening to all the tips that you are giving me and to all of us. Vaishali Thakkar is here from Paul Messi.
Thank you so much.
Paul Messi Events, as you know, is the organizes the Anuga event, which is the biggest in the world in Germany, and in India also. They organize one of the biggest events in the food industry called Anu Food, and there are two other co-located events, Annapurna and NutroActive. So this happens on 7th to 9th of September, and Plant-Based Food Industry Association proudly associates with that. And we have a plant-based pavilion in Mumbai for this event. And all of you are welcome to take space. You can reach out to Narhari Gupta, to Vaishali, or to any one of us. We'll be very happy to provide you the space. As you know, that their space is at a premium most of the time. They are not left with any space. So right now we have that space for plant-based food companies in the most premium location within this event. So Vishali, can you please talk about it?
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Sanjay and Aditi, for inviting me on the call. And sorry for not turning on the video, as actually I'm not on my desk and I'm traveling outside. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Vaishali. I am from Cologne Messe, India. We are a subsidiary of Cologne Messe GmbH, which is a German-based company. And we have been organizing exhibitions since a decade. And we do exhibitions all across the world in various countries. And one of our flagship show is in Germany, which is Anuga, and it's happening this year in October 2023. And similar to that, the same DNA we have, the same show format, we have it in Mumbai as well, which is happening in September from 7 to 9. And this is the 16th edition which we are doing at the Bombay Exhibition Center. And the show usually focuses on the manufacturers from different food categories, which is bread and bakery, fine food, organic. Obviously, we have this year plant-based pavilion, which already Mr. Sanjay discussed about it. So likewise, we have many more other categories all under one roof. And the key visitor profiles to this show is mainly your distributors, pan India retailers, and the Horeca segment. Also, we have few import, few buyers coming from the neighboring countries. We will be having few delegation coming from Sri Lanka, from Bangladesh, and also from other European and Middle East countries. We are working on that as well to get them on board and host them as well. So I would love to have all the members of the plant base to be a part of this and explore the opportunity with us, and the kind of platform we give with regards to having a complete B2B profile and meeting all the top key players at one go. And it would be a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much, Vaishali. And now I request Anju Kalhan from the Wellness Foundation, and also she is a member of Plant-Based Foods Industry Association, to this box, the company that she founded. Anju. You are on the mute. You are on the mute, Anju. Anju, unmute yourself.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. It was a great pleasure listening to everyone. And my grand coach was here, and that was like a dream come true, which Sanjay ji has just given to me. It was, I mean, I can just, this is a Bible which I keep going back to, which is by Dr. Campbell. And, it was such a nice thing that I heard him first time and was on a panel, same as him. A few things which I would like to talk about. Sanjay ji has already given a brief introduction about the Bliss Box. So Bliss Box also does a plant-based whole food snacks, and we do ready-to-eat snacks also. And talking about the Plant-Based Wellness Foundation, this is the president of the foundation is in Berkeley, and his name is Mr. Lalit M. Kapoor. And his coach is Dr. Campbell. That is why I call him a brand coach, where, you know, whatever he suggests and whatever we have built up our own lives, where we have reversed diabetes and all the lifestyle ailments. I am a testimonial myself, where I have reversed my 30-year-old blood pressure. And since the last 2 years, I'm off the medication. And the other testimonial, like my own experience in my own house, is my mother. She is in her mid 80s, and on that age also she had diabetes, like a lifelong diabetes. She had blood pressure. She was on the blood thinners and all. And today, since last 1 year, she's off all medication. So you can imagine the power of the plant-based food. Let there be any age, that does not matter that your parents are more than 80, and they are 90 years. Dr. Campbell himself is 90 plus, and this reversal is possible, be it any age. Going through few specific points which I wanted to talk about. I wanted to show you a film, but I don't know whether we have time or not. I can talk about that. It's the thing that any fiber, any food which is rich in fiber. So the fiber, when it goes into your body, it turns everything into magic. Because of our fiberless food, which is basically when you talk about the animal food, which we talk about the dairies that we are consuming, they are all minus fiber. They don't have any fiber. So all the plant-based foods, they have fiber. And when you start consuming fiber, what it does, talking about greens, we talk about green leaves. Okay, so there's a film. It's just a 2-minute film. And thank you, Narhari, if you can play this.
Can we play it in the end, Anju, because we have a lineup of speakers?
Sure,
we can do it in that.
I can just talk about it. There's no problem on that. So it's just that this is a Lucille film, which I Love Lucy was a great show, which was there on TV, Doordarshan. And she is on a conveyor belt where of the sugar, of the chocolate candies. So once the candies are rolling out, they are packing up, and the thing is going into its place. But when the conveyor belt starts fast, the candies go haywire, and they are putting in their mouth, and they are putting in their caps and all to just hide that they are not working enough. So the candies here signifies the food. The food, when it is embedded in fiber, it goes to the body and it is slowly digested by the liver. So it is the part of it turns into glycogen, and the part of it turns into fat, and the fat is taken by the blood to all parts of the skin, where the subcutaneous fat is there, which is a good fat, which is the right place of the fat to be there. But when we start fiberless food, which is like the animal food or any highly processed foods, or dairy that we talk about, the fat, the food all the time, very quickly goes and settles in the liver, because there is no fiber, and it quickly settles in the liver, and the liver goes haywire. The insulin levels are just going haywire because of that, because all of a sudden rush of sugar comes on the liver, and it turns into a fatty liver. So that fatty liver makes the insulin irresistible. So that is the major cause of the diabetes when we talk about it. Minus food, minus fiber, and the diabetes is just there when we are not taking enough of plant-based food. And then we talk about 5 pillars of health. where the food Dr. Campbell also and everybody else has talked about, there is one very important part which has not been reflected right now here is the detoxification, where we talk about autophagy, where we are saying that when you are doing intermittent fasting or you are taking Ekadashi fast or Navratri fast, which is very important, and the diabetic patients have to have these kind of time restricted eating. Once they start doing that with the plant based, the time and the detoxification, that totally starts reversing slowly. Then we talk about, somebody has talked about circadian rhythm, which is very, very important too. Physical exercise has been talked about here. And the other part which has not been yet talked about is the emotional and the spiritual health. If we are always in gratitude and if we are always thankful for the things being done, and when we are talking about our gurus, we thank them. And if we have that kind of attitude in life, these 5 pillars together will reverse not only diabetes, it will reverse any kind of lifestyle ailments. Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Anju. You are a proud member of PBFIA. We are very proud of the work that you are doing. And we have Pawan from IHE, International Hospitality Expo at Expo Center, Bird Expo Center in Noida, is happening from 3rd to 5th of August. All of you are welcome to be a part of this event in Greater Noida, where again PBFIA has a pavilion. So whichever event suits you, on 28th to 29th of November, India Food Forum is there in Mumbai by Images Retail, and Anu Food is from 7th to 9th of September in Mumbai. 18th to 19th of August is Food Ingredients FI by Informa, and from 3rd to 5th of August in Greater Noida is IHE. Pawan, are you there? And then we get in Dr. Vinit. Pawan. So Pawan is not there. Dr. Vinit, you can come in now. We have a very different speaker today to bring a totally different meaning to today's conversation from the research side, from the seed research side. So Dr. Vinit has done a path-breaking work in the soybean side. And Dr. Vinit, we want to know how soybean can actually be used as a solution to diabetes. And we know that soybean has all the 9 amino acids, and we know many things about what you have been teaching us. But it will be great if it comes out from your mouth, Dr. Vinit. And Dr. Vinit and his wife both are, Dr. Anita, both are working on the plant breeding side and making India proud, and a little bit of your work on the soybean side also. The floor is yours, Dr. Vinit.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. And good afternoon to everyone on this platform. Just to start with a few lines, that the topic of this discussion is reversing diabetes through the plant-based food. And ironically, we are, predominantly a vegetarian country, and we are the diabetic capital of the world. And the reason we find that the cereal-based diet we have wheat and rice as our staple diet. And at Indian Institute of Soybean Research, what we have done that how this soybean which is a confluence of oilseed and the legumes, all the properties of both the crop species it has, it can be used in controlling the diabetes and managing the diabetes very well. For that, we needed to incorporate popularized soybean in our regular diet. And the best mode of propagating the health benefits of soybean is to through our Indian chapati. If we incorporate soybean in wheat with wheat flour, 10 to 20%, so it can provide all the health benefits, especially managing diabetes very well. For that, we needed to have food grade soybean from the Indian stand-up point of view, because we are propagating, we are popularizing soybean that in an unfermented way to our low level of the masses. For that, the anti-nutritional factor in soybean, which gets deactivated on its own in fermented soybean, in fermented soya product, as someone on this platform was well said that tempeh is there. It is free from that anti-nutritional factor and rich with all the vitamins. But when we are propagating soybean through by incorporating Indian chapati, we had to have genetically free trypsin inhibitor soybean, and we have developed such kind of soybean, and which has been released to the farmers, and it is available now with the farmers and in the market now. People can use it, bring it to their homes, incorporate with the wheat flour in the ratio of 9:1, bringing down the glycemic index of Indian chapati by mixing just 20% soybean. You can bring down the glycemic index of Indian chapati by 20%. Bringing down the glycemic index 20% will make a big headway in Indian masses when they are using chapati in all their 3 meals. So that we have done, and through that, soybean, which has a rich, rich in fiber, which you can say that slow down the carbohydrate absorption, and which has functional component like isoflavones, which has its own mechanism of controlling diabetes. That is also there. And then these 2 amino acids, which are very rich in soybean, one is glycine and one is the basic amino acid arginine. They have their own effect on the beta cell and regulate the insulin level well in the body. So these kind of, the inherent properties of soybean, which is there and which has the established research studies that they control and manage diabetes very well. But how people can take soybean into their diet in their normal way? Okay, commercial products are there, tempeh, miso, and all other products, very, very diverse products, they are there in the Indian market also. But at the household level, how we can go ahead? And we have developed this kind of special soybean, which is free from anti-nutritional factor and which is free from O flavor also, which is because we have developed soybean which is free from lipoxygenase 2, which creates the O flavor. And this can be very well easily taken, and people are making, the entrepreneurs are making soya products from these varieties and making these products very free from any kind of inhibition. So that is what I want to say, that these varieties should be made available to as many people as possible and in the market, so that people can use it at their home itself by grinding with the wheat in a regular way. That is what I have to say, Sanjay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Dr. Vineet. I know that the kind of work which you are doing requires and calls for a recognition, maybe one of the Padma Awards for the work that you are doing. And I also see a little bit of I would say, frustration in your voice when you say that please adopt these varieties, because in the heart of your heart, you know that it will take a long time for the farmer to adopt anything new. And this is unfortunately is the curse of the smallholder farming. It has advantages and it also has disadvantages. So this is the disadvantage. The adoption is slow, and whereas the plant-based food industry is suffering today. On one side, you have the meat and dairy industry, baying on our blood. On another side, we have, our own, you know, uh, plant-based foods and other sectors within the food industry who are always accusing us of being more processed and things like that. And we have to bring in the better versions of plant-based foods like we did today by bringing the jackfruit guys, by bringing the tempeh guys. That look, we also have the other things. We are not just about the nuggets and the burgers. And so we need those seeds which you have, but only in the laboratory. Whereas US has all those soybeans, and we are waiting for those to be brought into the country so that we use this in our Bhiwadi project, and those are non-GMO, and we process those, take the oil, take the protein outside the country, bring the jobs here. Instead of importing edible oil, why not we import the soybean and keep the oil and take the protein outside, and also consume some of the protein here? Because as you said, some of those protein varieties, the soybean varieties, are good in terms of not having off flavor, not having the beanie taste, not having very high oil content, rather having a high protein content, and also having some other desirable properties. With this, I would definitely like to bring in Zeel Sharma. She is an expert and a nutritionist, and very.
Sanjay, can I interrupt actually? Just
yes, please.
Can I interrupt actually just for a second?
No, take a minute. Take 2 minutes.
Just to add that these varieties, these genotypes release as a variety is a very, very recent, event, just 2 to 3 years before. And these varieties are becoming very popular among the farmers because of their yield capacity, because of their production. So they are becoming very popular, spreading to the from Madhya Pradesh to Maharashtra. And very soon you will see that, because right now they are giving to each other as a seed. You will very soon see this variety as a grain in the market, on the shelf actually. They will
and we are ready to process all of those, whether those are pulses, whether those are soybean from India, soybean from US, rice, or millets, or oilseeds. Everything we are ready to process in our Bhiwadi project, and for which today we got a very positive news from CCL also, and also welcoming you, Vinith, in your personal capacity. You can invest as low as 10,000 rupees in this project, because it's a crowd-funded project, and everybody can be a part of it. After retirement, what will you do? You'll come back to Haryana. You're not going to stay in Indore. Your roots are in Haryana. So we have a project on Haryana-Rajasthan border. So here is your place. Come and claim your place here, and then we talk about all the old nostalgic things. Now back to Zeel Sharma. Zeel, a very responsible head on young shoulders. I'm your fan. So tell us how to control diabetes through plant-based foods.
Thank you, Sanjay ji. I must say it's amazing your skill set, how you bring everybody together and you have a connect with everybody. Thank you very much. And I will spend a few minutes on diabetes and food very quickly, and happy to answer any questions that people may have. Can you see my screen? Hello?
It's coming. Yes, it has come.
Yeah, you can see it now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
So Zeel, you can put it on full screen now.
In the bottom, in the bottom there is a glass sign in the bottom on the right hand side. Go to the bottom, absolute bottom.
Yeah, on this orange band.
One
Yes.
second.
On the orange band, go to the bottom toward the right. There is a glass sign. It's a wine glass sign.
Okay, just one second.
So click that.
I can't see it.
Okay, we can manage with that.
Is it half a screen?
Now it's gone. Now the screen has gone. Please try it one more time.
Yeah.
So all the time you are taking to upload, we are counting. This time is going from your quota.
No worries. Please let me know if you can see it now.
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yes.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm Zeel Sharma. Hello, everyone. Lovely to hear everyone, especially Colin T. Campbell. So I basically moved from driving business transformations to nurturing personal transformation as I got very passionate about health and nutrition. And I work with people across all lifestyle diseases from heart health, diabetes, weight, autoimmune, and gut. And I also am launching a small group session specifically for diabetes, which is diabetes is not your destiny, right? So these are the kind of foods that people eat. And people are amazed that good food can actually taste very well. I mean, so nice. And of course, they are colorful and rich with all that we need. So the focus is on a low fat, whole food, plant-based diet. I think these are the three things if somebody from diabetes can take home: low fat, whole food, and plant-based, right? It's a food that is rich in whole grains, legumes, like beans, lentils, vegetables, fruits, with a small serving of nuts and seeds. And this is what we have seemed to have created, which is diabetes. As you can see that, you can see that the blood, when we take our blood, you see this a high level of fat deposits now that we are seeing. And this is caused by essentially the foods that we are having in our lifestyle. So a perfect case in point, as Medha mentioned in the beginning, we have about 101 million people in India living with diabetes as per the 2021 estimate, and another 136 pre-diabetics, right? So it is a disease of our own choosing, likely including type 1 as well. And we seem to be choosing more and more every day. And there are industries that have built around its management. But the reality is that curing it is not that hard to organize, right? Going through several studies and working with several people, I can say that we can simply make changes in our diet and make a lot of, change in the way we actually not manage, but kind of move towards healing and curing ourselves. So if we look at the elements of what we are eating, we seem to be barking up the wrong tree, right? Even in vegetarian foods, we see that our foods are very high in dairy, in oil, in cream, pizzas, fried fruits, ice cream, desserts. So this is what is causing the fat, as I told you, in our blood levels, right? To this, adding meat adds a mix of toxic molecules to our bloodstream. And so there's just too much fat in our food. And this picture is from the American Diabetes Association, which is meat. And so we have to really reconsider what we are promoting when we speak to people with diabetes. Another health threat has been eating sugar as a food rather than something that enhances the taste of food. And so our bloodstream is loaded with fat, with sugars, and a host of disruptive molecules all day long. So this is how our bloodstream looks like when we have something that is highly refined and filled with ghee or oil in the morning. And then in the afternoon, when we have, our lunch, which is again packed with a lot of fat and refined foods, fried foods again, and then desserts, which is again essentially dairy based or largely dairy based, right? And what this does, as you can see, is that our blood becomes more viscous because it's more dense. Our artery walls get injured in the process. We gain weight. Our insulin resistance increases. We have inflammatory reactions, and our immune system is compromised, right? So what we want to be is on the left side of the blood serum over here, and not the right side, which is packed with fat and high animal protein-based foods. So as Dr. Campbell, Colin T. Campbell said, that all the diseases are essentially our biological processes gone awry. Our bodies are not programmed to deal with the excess consumption of meat, dairy, oil, highly processed food like our ancestors, because there is no need for these foods in our diet, right? So a case of point, because there was a mention on genes. This is Prima Indians. Half of them lived in Mexico, half of them live in Arizona, United States. And then we find that the group of people who lived in Mexico, for example, they had a diet which was high in grains, starches, vegetables, and fruit, very physically active. And the ones that had moved to the United States, their diet changed to a diet which was high in animal protein and fat and significantly less active. What we found is that those in Mexico, their diabetes rate was 6.9% versus those who actually moved to Arizona, their diabetes rate was 38%. So that's a huge margin, and that's what food and lifestyle can do to us, right? So the ball is, as I say, more on our court than anywhere else, right? These are the Prima Indians. These are people who are based in Mexico, and this is what happens when they move to the United States and actually change their diets, right? So it is our foods, it is our lifestyle, and I encourage people to move from the left to the right at all points in time, which is meat, animal protein, high fat-based foods, to foods that are what nature has given us in unprocessed whole form, right? Once we have these foods 3 times a meal, 365 days a year, the cumulative effects of these meals, they create harmful molecules in our blood almost constantly. And, before we realize, we have issues that we thought, we shouldn't be having, so it's the cumulative effect of foods, right? So diabetes, if it is a disease at all, is at best a lifestyle disease. It's a disease of not giving the right nutrition, which is eating the wrong stuff. And the solution is simple. It's tragic. It's ignored by the healthcare system, which focuses 100% on treating symptoms, while 0% on addressing the cause, which is a diet which is out of touch of our design, right? It's part of our biology, archaeology, and the way we lived before in our ancestors, anthropology. And so people with diabetes have to stay in a suboptimal state, which is the net result, and we can definitely help them change that to an optimal, healthy state, right? So I'll stop with that, but I wanted to share one more slide, and which is, can you see the slide? Right? When we give the wrong fuel to our body, it's like giving molasses to our car, right? And the minute we start treating it and giving it the right foods, these are the kind of foods that we can have: millet-based pastas, quinoa, chickpeas, oil-free tofu scramble, for example, soups, baked tofu, leafy greens, again, oil-free vinaigrettes. We can start healing ourselves, So
we can see only part of the slides. There are no pictures. You can't see the pictures.
Okay, sorry. Okay. So to bring it all together, I always say that diabetes is not your destiny, whether you have it or also once you have it. And the key is to listen to Mother Nature and not to kind of outsmart her. So which is eating foods which are whole, which are low in fat, and which are plant-based, you know. And I've worked with several people by now, people who come to me just to reduce weight, and they don't realize that they can even look at diabetes and change it. And within 6 months, within 9 months, they've been able to see absolute changes in their lifestyle and diet, you know. So, so Sanjay ji, you know, I hope, you know, there's some takeaways from the fact that if we focus on really good quality food, then
Yes.
we can win ourselves of these diseases.
Perhaps we collectively saved a life today. Perhaps. Okay, so last year we went to India Food Forum. So thank you, Zee. Now we took CCL at that time, the Greenbird to IFF, and after that, not only we had the IFF as one of the platform to sell our products, and this year we also have CCL as one of the outlets. So going back to IFF. IFF is a great platform which happens in Mumbai, which is on 28th and 29th of November. And Karsan Bedi is here. Karsan, are you here?
Sure, I'm there.
Yes, so Karsan is here. So Karsan will tell us that how come such a huge brand, you know, came up in India. It's all about retail, all about hospitality, and you have become such a big name all over the world. And we would definitely like more and more of our members to go there on 28, 29 of November at the swanky brand new GeoWorld Convention Center in Bandrakula Complex, where this event is
No, sir.
going to take place.
Let me correct you. It's on the 29th. It's on the 30th November and 1st December this year.
Okay, great. So
Yeah,
you
just changed the dates. Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. So over to you, Karsan. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you so much, sir. Sanjay sir. Hi everyone. My name is Karsan Bedi. I'm heading the food division in Images Group. So Images Group is a 30-year-old retail intelligence company. We have been in this, you know, in the business of, you know, we call ourselves as catalyst in the Indian retail industry. You know, the key areas where we specialize is fashion, food, and retail in total. You know, where we had CDIT, salons, everything. So one of our prime, you know, focus is food, wherein, you know, we have a publication which is called Progressive Grocer, which is, you know, a kind of a Bible for every person who is in the food, retail, or HoReCa business. And, you know, we have a good subscription base. And to support that, we have an annual event which is called India Food Forum. You know, India Food Forum has been was conceptualized in the year 2008, and ever since we have been doing it every year, barring, you know, COVID, when the entire world was suffering. So, you know, but now I think post-COVID, we are again back in the market, and last year Food Forum was a huge success, as Sanjay sir mentioned. You know, the concept of Food Forum is that for 2 days, you know, if you're in the business of food retail and you have a wish list to meet people, you know, we promise to fulfill that wish list for you. You know, we make sure that those people are there to meet you. You know, as a brand, if you have a wish list, whether it is in the food retail business or it's in the HoReCa business, you know, we make sure that you know, those people are there for 2 days. And it's a great platform where you know, new products, new ideas, new concepts can be launched. Whether you know, it's plant-based or any other for that matter. You know, the event is supported by a very strong content-based conference which happens for 2 days, wherein Mr. Sanjay is also, you know, one of the panelists in these sessions. So, you know, we have around more than 300 speakers, wherein the knowledge is shared with the delegates. So, you know, that's the entire thing about Food Forum is. So in case you are looking for a platform to launch your brand, relaunch your brand, or to connect to the food retail industry, whether it's the modern retail or HoReCa, I think Food Forum is one place which cannot be missed. So if you miss this year, then you have to wait for another 365 days to get it back. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sanjay sir.
No, you're absolutely spot on, Karsan. This is the place that where our industry wants to go, because one
Yes,
of
sir.
the bigger problems that we are suffering from is the distribution of our products, and some of these retail companies are fleecing them by charging too much of listing fees, and we cannot accept that.
Yes,
So
I think that's a problem which not only your industry but the entire food industry is facing. I think this has to be one of the key points in the conference this year, that the kind of listing fees these retailers they are asking, it's becoming a concern for the existing brand as well as upcoming brands.
yes, so the greed has to go down. So there's too much of greed. So
Yes.
now I request James Joseph from Jackfruit 365 to come in. James, sorry, we called your name earlier. I think you were in the hospital at that time. So over to you now.
Thank you, Sanjay. I'm so sorry. I'm actually sitting in a car under the monsoon rain. I had to rush to the hospital for a blood donation for a friend's husband who's having a liver transplant. Okay. So I'll just, and in fact, we'll come to liver as well after I talk about the diabetes part. Okay. And in fact, Sanjay, it's so easy for me to speak because the science has already been explained by Rattan. And the challenge for India is already mentioned by Dr. Vineet about the cereal-based food habit of India. Okay. So I kind of accidentally stumbled into Jackfruit, after I stepped down from Microsoft for a year to write a book. And then Dr. Kalam kind of, stopped me halfway when I told him that, okay, I've just, found out that the Kerala way of eating the mature unripe jackfruit as an alternate to rice. It's a custom only in Kerala and Sri Lanka. And a person with type 2 diabetes was taking insulin, took his normal dose of insulin, and then he had a severe hyperglycemic event. And that led to my research on, is it good for diabetes? Okay. Then I walked him through the nutritional values. It's 40% lower in carbohydrate than a cup of rice. It's 40% lower in calorie and 2x fiber than a cup of rice. And then I also showed him a glycemic.
Okay, so we can now get in Pawan by the time James comes back. Pawan, you are there from IHE? We also have Gouravendra Gangwar, business head, Nutraceutical from GSS Group. Can you imagine? They have vitamin D3 from plant source. So over to you, Gouravendra. Mr. Gangwar? Okay, so I think we also dropped out. And then we also have on this Pawan, are you there? Is Pawan back? Sunil also had dropped out. Is Sunil back? Sunil, you had dropped midway.
Sir, I think Mr. Tejinder will speak instead of Pawan.
Okay, Tejinder, you can come in. I think the rain is causing some disturbance to our webinar. There are more than normal number of people who have dropped out halfway through. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Tejinder, how are you?
Good afternoon, Sethi ji. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity. I'll just take 2 minutes, quick 2 minutes of talking about India International Hospitality Expo, which is going to be organized just after 20 days now. We are very near to the exhibition. If you're aware, this is the 6th edition of IHE, India International Hospitality Expo. And this is being organized by IEML, that is India Expo Mart Limited themselves. And one of the biggest exhibitions on the HoReCa segment, which is being organized here and is focusing primarily on food and beverages, kitchen equipment, design and decor, furniture and furnishings, laundry services, wellness options, smart hotel technologies, facility management, fleet management, housekeeping, hotel management, catering, schools and placement services, etc. We have the exhibition for 4 days, and a lot of activities apart from the exhibition itself, which we do, where there are a lot of parallel activities that happen, primarily to get the right kind of footfall over there, to get you the right kind of visitor. That is the reason we do a number of other activities also. We have more than 15 conference sessions that we will be running in the whole of 4 days. We've got the India IHE Excellence Awards. We've got the master classes by a number of leading celebrity chefs like Harpal Singh Sokhi. We've got Ranveer Brar, and we've got a number of big names that will be, running the master classes. Plus, we've got ICF, which every year organizes the culinary competitions for upcoming chefs. Then, and we would request all the companies that are present over here to be part of IHE. And I'm sure Mr. Sethi is also going to be one of our esteemed speakers over there, and others from PBFIA who will be speaking over there. So this in a very small crux is what IHE is all about. We as of now, we have already have 25,000 plus pre-registered B2B visitors that will be coming over there. So even if we look at around 15 to 16,000, these are already pre-registered visitors who are ready to come to visit as our visitors, as our delegates at the event. For more any kind of information that anybody seeks, you can get in touch with us. We will share our numbers, myself and Pawan. So thank you so much for this opportunity, Sethi.
Sanjay, I'm back.
Oh, great. James.
Okay, sorry about that. I got disconnected. Okay, I'll keep it very brief. Okay, so thanks to Dr. Kalam's ask, I ended up making, in fact, his comment was changing eating habits is more difficult than changing religion. North India likes to eat roti, South India likes to eat idli and dosa. Okay, and reducing carbohydrate or reducing rice and wheat is the only way we can reduce diabetes. Okay, how can we reduce rice and wheat without reducing roti and idli? And Dr. Vineet alluded to it in terms of, so then I looked at the iodized salt, how India added iodine into salt so that everybody in India gets iodine. Okay, so if I take the same example into roti and idli dosa, I need to make a flour out of jackfruit, the raw jackfruit, not the ripe jackfruit, the mature unripe jackfruit, but with a binding factor between rice flour and wheat flour. And I use a soluble fiber, pectin, from the jackfruit to get the binding. And Ira, you mentioned about the importance of the soluble fiber and the short chain fatty acid and how it helps with the gut microbiomes. So I did not know, but I did it because I wanted to get the binding. Okay, so in the jackfruit atta, we have 5.6% of soluble fiber. So in 30 gram, you get 1.5 gram of soluble fiber every day, and you get to reduce 50 grams of wheat flour or rice in the roti and idli dosa. Okay, so that's how we were able to make the product. But unfortunately, Dr. Kalam passed away, so we had to prove it through a randomized controlled trial. So the science which you mentioned, we had to prove that through cause and effect. So we then did a randomized controlled trial on type 2 diabetes patients. One group was given wheat flour, and the other group was given the jackfruit flour, and we could clearly show in 90 days HbA1c reduction. And that was published in the ADA journal and later peer-reviewed at the Nature Group Journal Nutrition and Diabetes. That is when we got the right to make the claim on the pack that if you use 3 tablespoons, which is 30 gram, daily in your idli dosa or roti, every day you get to reduce your HbA1c. And that I got to present to the Prime Minister and took India by storm. And right now we have more than 5 lakh people on Amazon who have used this product with 90% satisfaction. We now have 12,000 reviews with 90% positive rating on Amazon. So that is what we have done with the simple, without changing India's eating habits. We could reduce rice and wheat with the largest plant-based food on earth, which is jackfruit. Okay, so that's what we have done, Sanjay.
Thank you so much, James. We are very proud of you. India is proud of you. And I hope you become a unicorn very soon. And we will have a massive celebration in Kerala. And
So long way to go, Sanjay. Okay.
And today is the Jackfruit Day, the World Jackfruit Day. Congratulations for that.
And you have invited me on that day. Thank you.
Yes, yes. Not only you. We invited 3 jackfruit companies today to celebrate.
Okay,
so our celebration is going on. So we are coming to the end of our speakers, and now requesting all of you, whoever wants to speak can speak. But I believe Sunil had dropped off. So Sunil, would you like to make a final comment on diabetes?
Yes, hi, I'm back. Okay, just to close it and make it very short right now, since we've already gone beyond the time. For me, having a plant-based diet is one of the best things that could actually happen. And it is actually going back to the old ages, the Stone Ages, when we used to have this kind of diet. So plant-based, a lot of people get confused between plant-based and a vegan. So they're completely two different aspects altogether. Having said that, I'd like to just conclude is that it's best for anybody to enjoy or reap the benefits of any kind of diet. It's better to have a certain balanced lifestyle. When we talk about lifestyle, I'm talking of where 50% of your diet has to be right. And the balance of 50% should be with your lifestyle and a good amount of exercising to get things right for you and to maintain a good, healthy lifestyle. So on this, I would like to just thank Sanjay for giving us the opportunity of coming here on this platform and expressing, and also at the same time learning a lot from the esteemed delegates who have come here and shared their achievements. And we look forward to that. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil. So keep coming back to our platform. So I request Dr. Rajeena Shahin from PAN, Physician Association for Nutrition, is an international organization. And we are very proud of you, Dr. Rajeena. And I know you have a lot to say on diabetes, on plant-based nutrition, plant-based, and you are one of the marquee organizations all over the world, bringing all the physicians and asking them to think about the plant-based diets. So I feel that the diabetics are the first ones who lost faith in the doctors. So most of the doctors, they were lacking the knowledge about the nutrition, and that's the time the nutritionists started to become famous. And during COVID times, they become very famous. So I think now the time has come that we should take the nutrition knowledge to the MBBS doctors as well. So who is the better person to guide than PAN itself? And so over to you, Dr. Rajeena.
Thank you, Sanjay, Sethi, and the team for this wonderful session. Basically, this cross
there is a little bit of echo. If you can speak into the thing, I'm going to mute everyone again, and then you unmute yourself. So please unmute yourself and speak into the device.
Can you hear now?
Yes, this is better.
Yes. Basically, I've prepared a presentation and all. There's no time. I also have planned only till 3:30 because I have planned other meetings with few med schools and all. So I'll just say what we do. Yeah, that doesn't matter, right? So I in between I attended those calls, so it was okay. So what PAN does?
You can make a presentation if you wish, because we are towards the end. We have more time. We are going to play 2 videos also, which we did not play during the earlier time.
I do have other few meetings too, because I will do one thing next time. We will have that case presentation, which was about case reversal, few case reversals. So basically what PAN does is Physicians Association for Nutrition India. It's a part of an international organization called PAN International. what we do is we train medical doctors, whatever said and done, a patient is being diagnosed with diabetes, the first person they go to is their primary care physician. And with the current medical system, educational system, the doctors are not trained to do nutrition intervention. They either give medications, or sometimes, very rarely, they send the patient to the nutritionist. So that is the way it is going. So the idea is to train them, educate them, train them, and engage them, all these physicians, from MBBS doctors to endocrinologists, on nutrition intervention methodologies. And we also provide them the tools and resources to practice the same. We started our operations in 2022. We have already reached out to 1,000 plus doctor network. We have 1,000 plus doctor network and 1,200 plus student network with us. And we do conduct evidence-based, nutrition-based webinars every month, discussion forums, journal clubs, these kind of activities on a monthly basis. We also reach out to med schools. We have already covered AIMS Jodhpur, AIMS Nagpur, Bangalore Medical College, and few other local events to train medical students, faculties, and doctors about evidence-based nutrition, which is predominantly or plant-based nutrition, actually. So anybody who is, aligning with our mission, I mean, we all align in our mission to promote a better food systems, but something to do with it, doctors, hospitals, or such healthcare facilities, please reach out to me. That's what I have to say. And also, like, as the industry of plant-based is actually taking shape, we need to have such dialogues more often, so that we are able to convey, as Dr. Colin Campbell said, that science of it, and we are able to bring in better product to the market. Actually, one of the major things which we face, I'm also a clinician, I also run a setup on my own. So what we face is, actually, we ask them to eat more plants, more plant-based proteins. The major thing which we face is we do not have the food system to kind of, or the delivery systems, or the kind of environment to go completely plant-based. As Dr. Colin Campbell said, people go for some time, but again, there is scarcity and lack of availability. They'll again go back to the same system. So we need to have more dialogues to know the difficulties and challenges we face as physicians or nutritionists, and then we can actually bridge the gap using these platforms, actually, or having dialogues around these things, actually. Thank you, Sanjay, Sethi, and team, for bringing Dr. Colin Campbell, one of my heroes in the field. And thank you all for listening to me. And next time I will do the presentation. Thank you all. So I think, yeah.
Great. So thank you so much, Dr. Rajeena, and please keep coming back to PBFIA platforms. And now I request Dr. Lokendra. Dr. Lokendra, if you can come online and speak to us, we are all waiting to hear from you. Dr. Lokendra. In the meantime, we can play the video. Dr. Lokendra, by the time he comes online, we can play the video, and also I can request, I think Mr. Goenka is also available today on this call. Mr. Goenka, would you like to introduce yourself? Jitendra Goenka. Okay, maybe Dr. Goenka, Mr. Goenka is not available, but I see him online. Okay, Lokendra, are you there? So we can play one video. There are two videos pending. Narahari, you can play one of the two videos.
Yes, sir, sure.
Yes, Dr. Lokendra, are you there? I see Dr. Lokendra has joined back.
So,
Okay. Yes, Doctor.
good evening, everyone. I'm Lokendra Tomar, founder of the brand Divexi, and people call me the father of low carb food industry in India because when nobody was making that low carbohydrate food product, it's almost 15 years back. I started working on the industry and created some of the best product in the industry. And one of the product, this Divexi Atta, is very popular for the diabetes reversal. As today's topic is diabetes reversal, one of the fundamental aspect of reversing diabetes, because I am in this industry from more than 15 years and helping diabetic patients to reverse their diabetes. So one of the fundamental concept of reversing diabetes is managing the nutritional value. And how we can manage the nutritional value? Plant-based diet is a fantastic for reversing the diabetes. And the advantage of plant-based diet is, as Dr. Ira was talking on that inflammation is very less when we follow the plant-based diet. But there is another aspect of it. The carbohydrate content in the plant-based diet is vary from very low to very high. So we have to choose the plants which are low in carbohydrate content, or we can say low in glycemic load. So there are two kind of things. We can say there is a rice, the plant based, but the carbohydrate content is almost 80%. Another thing, we can say vegetable, the plant based thing, but the carbohydrate is almost negligible, 3%, 4%, 5%, 10%. That is the level of carbohydrate in the food. So plant-based diet, which is having low glycemic load or low glycemic index, is a perfect recipe to reduce the blood sugar level, or we can say reverse diabetes. So reversal of diabetes starts in just 48 hours because the glycemic load of the diet is reduced. So plant-based diet is fantastic to reduce the glycemic load of the diet. And when we look at the diet pattern, what we can eat, whatever the kind of people are vegetarian, people are non-vegetarian, but still what kind of diet anybody needs on this planet is the plant-based diet. At least the base of the diet needs to be the vegetable or the plants, because this is how nobody can eat constantly non-veg or other products. Everybody needs vegetables in their diet. So plant-based diet is fantastic because the benefit of vegetables is their antioxidant property. If there is a case of diabetes, if there is a case of kidney failure, or there is a kidney related issue in a diabetic person, so plant-based diet is fantastic. And the soya protein. So protein is an important part of the diet. Fat is an important part of the diet. For diabetes reversal, if there is a patient who is having kidney related or creatinine related problem, the again soybean as a source of protein becomes a very good help for the person. So one aspect of the diet is reducing the glycemic load of the diet, and this is fundamentally I do with the people, those who comes to us. And we have the largest YouTube channel for the diabetes education in India. More than 4.5 lakh people are associated with us for their diabetes reversal, and they are reversing diabetes within 3 months. They don't need medication, and many of the people, they achieve diabetes reversal within 6 months or 9 years because they don't take any medicine, and their HbA1c is less than 5.7. They are in a non-diabetic range, and they follow a restricted carbohydrate regime. So one thing I would like to share with my experience, that how much glycemic load a person can handle, because ultimately if someone is willing to reverse the diabetes, one fundamental concept they have to check is the amount of glycemic load they are consuming in the diet. So generally, a person who wants to reverse their diabetes, the glycemic load per day in their diet should be less than 25. Once they are off the medication, they can take their glycemic load to the 50. And once they reverse their diabetes, they can take it to the 75. Anybody consuming more than 75 glycemic load of the diet in the per day, they get the reappearance of the diabetes, or we can say the hyperglycemia arises when someone goes more than 75 glycemic load per day. So the best way to start with a 25 and hover around 50 or 60. And if a person is managing his glycemic load under this less than 70, the person will never become diabetic, because body is capable of handling that kind of glycemic load. Or we can say the glucose tolerance limit of a person in general in the urban population, we can say 50 to 60 is a very, very ideal range. If someone can keep the glycemic load of the diet in that range, person will never become diabetic. And as stats was shared by Medha in the earlier slides, that almost 10% of the population is diabetic. And it's not in India, it's global. Globally, almost 10% of the people are diabetic, and more than this, 15 or 20% of the people are pre-diabetic. So if we are making a mistake of just counting the calories, this will be a problem, because when we just count the calories, the first thing we avoid in the diet is the fat. And when fat goes away, the protein goes away. When protein and fat goes away, what we are left with is the mostly carbohydrate. And when it comes to eating habit, what we eat is then the refined carbohydrate out of that, because refined carbohydrate is cheap, and all the manufacturing companies uses that kind of raw material and they manufacture the product. So if someone wants to stay away from the diseases, and mostly lifestyle related diseases are associated with the insulin resistance. What are the lifestyle diseases today? Obesity, hypertension, or diabetes, or we can say hypercholesterolemia, too much of cholesterol, or PCOD. If we look at the majority of the lifestyle related diseases, they are associated with the insulin resistance, and insulin is associated with the carbohydrate intake in the diet, and carbohydrate intake should be monitored. And how to monitor the carbohydrate? The best criteria when we are counting the glycemic load, because for the diabetes, what matters is the blood sugar level rise. Whatever we eat, what we have to do to reduce the amount of blood sugar level, and how we can reduce by exactly measuring the glycemic load of the diet. So my take on the subject, that plant-based diet is fantastic as long as the glycemic load is calculated for the diet, because there are many things which are plant-based but high in glycemic load. So if we reduce the glycemic load and follow the plant-based pattern, the diabetes reversal happen very quickly, and person also loses weight, their blood pressure comes down to normal, their blood glucose level comes down to normal. And as a diabexi, we are in the field of diabetes reversal, and our mission is to eradicate diabetes like polio from India. And that's why we help people with a lot of food products which are low in glycemic load. We run diabetes reversal clinic, and we have a YouTube channel which educates diabetic population that what they should eat in their daily routine, so that they can reverse their diabetes. Thank you, sir, for giving me the time, and fantastic it was talking to you all.
Thank you, Dr. Lokendra, and we hope to meet you in person very soon. We are not far from each other. We are in Gurugram, right? Yes. So
yes.
Now requesting Priya from Azista.
Pardon, sir, you're asking?
I'm requesting Priya from Azista. Priya, you are there on the call? Or anybody from GetSeen, Apeksha? Okay, so time to ask for your comments. Anybody who is on the call would now like to speak. This floor is open now. Anyone would like to make a comment or any observation?
Yeah, may I?
Yes.
Oh. So one thing I must say that James sir was here, and believe you me, the moment the jackfruit flour came around, I was the first person to tell all my patients, 3 teaspoons, 1 kg atta, start immediately with it. And believe you me, it has got tremendous results. So all kudos to you, James sir, for introducing the jackfruit flour to us. And it's wonderful. It's really phenomenal the way it helps in the chapati, specifically for people who thyroid and they are allergic to goitogenous foods and all, jackfruit plays a tremendous big role. So thank you for that. This is just around to share. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Now inviting Venkat, Tanvi, Smita Kadam, Shriram, Shweta Doram, Shalaka, Hima Bali. Any one of you would like to make any comment? Teja, Priti. Okay, before we go to the video part, anything else, Medha, you have seen today, which is worth talking about? Once again, any highlights apart from what Dr. Campbell said?
I think there's a lot of good ideas has been talked about, something which even I was not aware of. I just thought that one session is not enough to capture everything. I think we can do one more session someday as a reinforcement, and can be more can be more robust in understanding what guidelines and can we shape up a plant-based nutrition. So that thought came in my mind. I think we have good people working in this field. They have good research backing as well. They have done clinical trials themselves. So we can actually propose to write some white paper in this segment.
Yes. Why not a regular, communication around these topics? Because every time we reach out, there are new people who are available. Shweta, over to you. Yes, Shweta, you are on mute.
Sorry, I'm not camera ready. That's why I was turning. I did not turn on my camera. Okay, so as a nutritionist, a holistic nutritionist myself, and health and wellness coach. So yes, this session, the webinar which you organized, Sanjay, so it's like very wonderful. So I basically work on, reversing, any lifestyle diseases and reversing age. So all these things which I'm currently working on, and I specialize in, going back to roots. So that is something which has given me the strength to reverse any disease. So just observe nature and go back to our roots. That is, go back to our ancestors, like what our grannies, great grannies did. So, so if you see modern days, like, yeah, we get the atta and just do the chapati and have it. So that's the reason, that's where the problems come because of gluten, etc., etc. But if we go back, there was something called Khamiri roti or bhasi roti. So that is what our ancestors used to do it. So when they had that kind of roti, there was no problem as such. So, but because of our modern lifestyle and fast moving life, we are inviting so many diseases. When it comes to South India, it's like the pressure cooking of the rice that is creating problem because of the complex carbohydrates are not getting digested by us. But earlier days, it was just, rice was cooked in open vessel and the rice starch was separated, complex carbohydrates were separated. So all these things, making a lot of difference, and even the cookware. So I am a founder of 3 to 4 small startups, and I am from Bengaluru, Karnataka. So I have a cloud kitchen called Squash Foods, which is into this kind of cooking. And I also, have one more startup called Soulful Cookware, which deals with a lot of traditional cookware. So yeah, this is one of the good sessions which I attended, and stay close to nature and get back to roots is the mantra which I would suggest everyone.
Okay, great, Shweta. And please play an active role in the association and put your email ID and phone number in the chat box and stay in touch with us. There are a lot of roles for people like you who are willing to do more. So Ritamba, Buddha, and Priti Parekh, Vijay.
Can I share something, sir?
Yes.
What I was hearing to what Dr. Ira was saying about gut permeability and leaky gut. So I'm like the testimony for healing autoimmune disorder. I had this autoimmune disorder called ankylosing spondylitis, which attacks every joint of your body, right from your neck till your toes. That I healed myself by changing my food, and that was basically going on a actually zero carb diet, essentially for a long period of time. And I healed my gut permeability by using simple things like turmeric, your kadi pattas, your I mean what we call it kothambir of dhania. These all these herbs which you find at your kirana mall stores. These herbs, they will help you to heal your gut. And once you take care of your gut, all the diseases actually disappear. Now, this is all said talk. When I went to the doctors, I said, I'm no more in pain. I don't require my medicines. They said, this is all you're talking. We don't believe, we require science-backed evidence. So what I started doing, I created a Facebook group which became 5,000 patients of arthritis. I've helped healed hundreds of patients by diet nutrition, but we started doing the blood test before the diet and blood test after the diet. So there are two parameters called CRP and ESR. Both are the inflammatory markers of a human body. So before doing the diet, we test the ESR and the CRP. Both are extremely elevated in arthritis patients. As we do the diet within 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, these values actually come down to normal, and the patient also doesn't show any symptoms. And this has been done many times over. Now, the only problem here is that when we tell all this to doctors, we told them, why don't you take 30 patients and we will give the diet and you monitor the patients. You can put up an international paper. You require 30 patients for international paper. Doctors are not interested. They said they cannot earn from this activity. They're not interested to do this paper, which you can publish. Problems are these. Now, in this conversation, some very practical tips were given about the jackfruit flour and other things which can actually help reduce diabetes. So those things are still not coming out in the society. My request to you, Mr. Sanjay, is that if at all the association can come with some concrete steps, this is what you got to eat. This will give you so much calories. This is the glycemic index of this plant proteins or whatever other foods. These are the other herbs which are anti-inflammatory, which will heal your body from the inside to the out. If you can make a complete list like this and print it, a PDF file, 2-3 pages, and distribute freely across India to the people free, you will see a major change in the health of the people. Luckily, in this decade, we are having the maximum health consciousness among the entire Indian population today. So our association can take the lead role by disseminating knowledge. What happens is at such majorly forums which I have been attending for the past 5-6 years is some experts come on the forum, they give a talk, they don't give solutions, they just give talk. I call it the marketing talk. And later on, the people have to go to those experts, pay them a hefty fee, and try to get solutions. Instead of having forum like this, a proactive forum for a common man who cannot afford those fees, that basic PDF can help him at least solve 50% of his problems, because that is the knowledge which he doesn't have. I personally feel, because being a patient and healing myself, I feel this is the need of the hour, whether it is for diabetes or lifestyle or autoimmune disorders or anti-aging diet or anything. Those are just my two small suggestions, sir. Thank you.
And Gautam, can I request you to switch on your video, please?
1 second.
So some very useful thoughts by Gautam, and I encourage everybody, whoever is interested, to join this Facebook arthritis group that Gautam is running. And you picked up some of the beautiful points, Gautam, and we need to have a public outreach, maybe a very large circulated magazine and an online platform to disseminate the knowledge and to keep the knowledge continuing to the same kind of people. So that we don't have only one Ira Rattan or one Zaid Sharma or one nutrition expert, but we have an army of expert, and that expertise goes to the woman in the house finally, or anyone who is cooking in the house. So
Hey, tell me, sir, what I have to do, I'll do it.
yeah. So sorry, there is some electricity connection issue at my end, but we surely will stay in touch with you, and definitely we will take this conversation forward, and your suggestion of a magazine or a way to reach out to people will surely be implemented. So now, Narhari, we can play the video. Anybody else who wants to make a comment now?
Aditi, I'm not able to load it. Can you please play the video?
Yeah, I'm just trying to
So
open it.
from the participants, anybody else? Sangeeta Srivastava?
Can you see my screen?
Gautam Sapuja?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Jitendra Goenka? Khushbu? Anybody wants to make a comment? Indra, Narari, Medha, Aditi, anyone? Anju?
So I think like we were all saying that it was an insightful session, and it is something that I think every household, somebody or the other, they deal with it. And the beauty of getting so many different people together who are working in the same field but who have different areas of exploration is that we get insights and we get a very wide perspective. So even though we spoke about plant-based, but we covered various aspects and different ways. So whatever is suited for a person to easily adapt in their lifestyle, they can pick it up from here and take it forward. And like Medha was saying that going forward, we can keep doing sessions like these and like I also added before that this is something we know that this is something you strongly believe in. So I'm sure we are going to together take this agenda forward. And while we are laying the foundation of the plant-based foods industry, it's good that we're talking about health as one of the foundations to build upon it and take it forward in India and the globe. So thank you to all the esteemed panelists. It was lovely hearing you all.
Okay, so Narari, are the videos ready?
Yes, sir. I'll be sharing the video. So
please play.
Let me know if you're able to hear it.
Thank you, sir. I'm James Joseph.
Yes,
founder,
please.
Okay.
365.com, National Startup Award for Food Processing. Founder, Jackfruit 365.com, National Startup Award for Food Processing. Our invention is a patented flour or atta from jackfruit or cattle to control blood sugar of diabetes patients. Our clinical study presented at the American Diabetes Association's conference has shown that adding 1 tablespoon of jackfruit atta in our breakfast, lunch, and dinner with our traditional meal like roti or dosa can control daily blood sugar, and in 3 months, it can reduce average blood sugar level known as HbA1c. This simple solution through our traditional food was inspired by a meeting with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in 2014. Earlier, jackfruits from Kerala had to travel all the way to Asadpur Sabji Mandi in Delhi for the farmers to have any income. Now we buy jackfruit from the farmers in Kerala, convert that to jackfruit atta, and sell this across 5,000 kirana shops to supermarkets in Kerala itself and through online across India. This has not only increased income for farmers, it has reduced the cost of medication for diabetic patients. Prime Minister, our vision is to source every jackfruit in India from Kerala to Tripura and convert that to jackfruit atta to control India's diabetes by just adding 1 tablespoon when we make our normal roti or dosa every day. We thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our invention and our vision for India. Thank you.
Sir, you're on mute.
We can play the other video.
Sir, I think this was the only video.
Okay, and Khushbu has written a message on the chat box. Khushbu, would you like to say something here? Okay, so with this, we can possibly call it a day. Thank you very much, audience. You have been a great audience. At one time we were 100, and now we are down to, I think, around 27 or 28 people here, still holding forth after about 3 hours. So thank you for your time, and it's amazing to hear such a great lineup of speakers. I think 15 speakers. We had 15 speakers today, and we had a star speaker today. I'm requesting Narhari and Medha to note down all the messages which are coming out in the chat box and their number. And please reach out to us if you want to invest in the plant protein cluster, which is in Bhiwadi. Reach out to us if you want to participate in our magazine or newsletter that we are planning to bring it out. If you want any customized solutions, reach out to us. We can provide you a solution to some of your business related scale up issues or advisory issues. Reach out to us if you want to be a member of the Plant-Based Foods Industry Association. We have now also a series of events lined up with our partners through the year. And if you are looking for speaking invites at national and international events, physical and virtual events, you are very welcome to reach out to us. And we sometimes have lots of opportunities, and sometimes people are not easily available, and sometimes we have some opportunities and there are too many people going for those. So if you stay in touch with us, it will be easier. If you help us to know you, it will be easier. And all the points which have been spoken today will be captured by us, and we will take the right action which are needed to take this industry forward. So this industry stands on 3 legs. One is compassion, another is health, and third is the sustainability. So we will continue to work with our members, and we have amazing organizations like Jivadan, Samega, Simrise, or AK, or Novozyme, IFF. We want to work on Norex flavors. These are the organizations which can provide flavors and taste to or texture to any product, and we can work on improving the health aspect, nutritional value of our plant-based foods, so that we don't have to keep hearing that plant-based whole foods is a stronger cousin of plant-based foods. So this is something which I don't like to hear. because this diminishes us. So my request to the entire plant-based whole food wallahs that please don't do this, because you are only diminishing our own industry. And while we understand that nutritional value of plant-based foods have to go up, but at the same time, you have to also understand that there are some processed foods which are out there. And what we are doing, we are making those processed foods uh, becoming healthier. We are making sure that those processed foods are having lesser environmental footprint. And we are making sure those processed foods have been processed and made with a lot of compassion. So we are not handling one target here. It's a mammoth task. So the least that we expect from our own uh, members of our industry is a little bit of understanding, a little bit of kindness, a little bit of I would say forgiveness. So that we get the time to do those amazing innovations with the help of these organizations that I mentioned: IFF, Jivardhan, Simrise, Samega, AK, Novozyme, and there are more like Norex flavors. So we work with these and get the taste right, get the nutrition right, and serve wholesome, nutritious, and absolutely tasty foods, yummy foods to in the plant-based food sector, and also reduce the price by working on the clusters and work with the government so that in the year of millets, at least we are able to call the millet milk or soy milk the wholesome value of hemp and soy, which has got all the 9 amino acids we are able to utilize in our products and use it to combat diabetes, whether the soybean comes from within the country or from overseas, from US, where we have higher grade quality soybean available, which is absolutely suited for plant-based meat sector. Probably this will also help our sector to take off. So these are some of the agendas on which we are working together with you. So kindly support us, but do not join the forces like those of meat and dairy to put down on us and trying to differentiate. Like recently, somebody else was again doing some advertisement on their label, which was showing the other part of PBFIA in poor light. We don't do this. We never do this. We never say that your product has more sugar. Whereas some of your products has high sugar, but we never say that. So we look at it as an opportunity to improve ourselves, and we look at it as an opportunity to get our house in order, but with a lot of kindness. That look, we are fighting the mighty powers for those organizations which are either very large or multinationals, and they can get away with their refined wheat and make some pasta noodles kind of products, and they can get away with some products and call it whey protein, and even if it is just rubbish and a byproduct which is being dished out to youngsters in the name of protein revolution. And now people are figuring out that it's the plant proteins which they need, and they don't need whey protein. And whey protein is standing a very large industry. Billions of dollars of industry is standing on very, very weak legs. Is going to absolutely I would say collapse in the very near future. Anybody who is having shares of a company which makes whey protein, time to exit is now, because the plant protein is coming like a tsunami, and we are making sure in India the prices are going to be very affordable. And similarly, by bringing in products like tempeh, tofu, or jackfruit kind of products, we are also making sure that the products are becoming more and more healthier. Like there's an organization like Samega who is working on using jackfruit as a binder. So these are the kind of things which are being used. So that means you remove one chemical and you bring jackfruit as a binder. So you get the fibers extra and the vitamins extra. So all those things are being discussed in the laboratories, and those things are being tried out. So have patience and request you to kindly do not look down your own industry. Rather look at what is not right out there, which we are together going to fight, because we need each other's support. With this, thank you very much and keep living a healthy life. Bye-bye. We can close this webinar and we can stop the recording.
Thank you so much, sir, for very insightful and